Let's see.
You think?
Okay,
I love the intro to this.
Yeah.
I think we're live.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as your Magic podcast intro.
I can't believe somebody actually listens to it. All right, we are live now. Hey everyone, welcome to the Sunday Session Live. I'm Lloyd Barnes, and on today's show we have Ben Williams and Craig Petty. So I'm just going to switch to the camera so you guys can see them. And then I've got to figure out how to add my camera to the screen. So Ben, Craig, say hello, say what's up. Hold court for a moment.
Hey, hello everyone. Ben got invited to the talent. I got invited to the ego. So,
Talented ego.
Who fancies saying what we're going to be doing today?
TNR, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, we planned a whole session on TNR. So, things torn and restored.
No holds barred. Nothing. We're just going to talk everything, and we're not going to hide methods away. We're just going to go for it.
Yeah, like a session. I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, exactly.
I got my glue sticks.
There I am.
Got my craft knife.
Have you?
Stacked a card. Like, I finally get to use. I've spent ages just playing around. It actually, since you invited me on, it's really sparked a little wave of creativity, which is nice. I think sometimes you need that little nudge.
Yes.
And yeah, so I finally got the drawer out. I've got a drawer full of playing cards that I just sling from gigs and stuff. And I've finally been doing something with them, so that's been good.
So amazing excuse. Well, we got Nathan Lindley in the chat, whose Abraxas channel is the best mentalist channel on YouTube right now. So what's up, Nathan? Yeah. And we got Jordan Davis in the chat, and Jordan was with us at Smoke and Mirrors, Craig.
I know Jordan very well. You freaked him the fuck out with Cognito. You almost killed him.
You freaked him the fuck out with that trick that can't be described for potential legal reasons. Not legal reasons, because it's a secret thing. And it's coming out soon, but he's also part of that. Hey, Matty, what's going on? So Jordan said, just rather echo-like. Let me try and solve that. I always have issues with my audio, so...
Oh, hold on, let me make sure my mic is set up, because last time we had...
No, it was totally on my end, because I don't know how to import the audio stream, so I use a mic to pick up you guys' audio, and kind of mine as well. Is that better, Jordan, since you said? I think I just switched it.
Can you hear me? Because I actually don't have a pro mic or anything like that.
I didn't have one when I started doing the podcast.
We've got Nathan Page. Hey guys, Rory Adams, let's go. Rich Relish. I'd love to hear any TNR applications apart from cards. Sean Farquhar's mismade photo idea. All right, so fuck it. Should we just dive in?
Let's just dive in. Yeah.
TNR ideas that are not.
How are we going to do this? What do you want to do?
I think we just first of all discuss. Well, let's just talk about it. What ways would you do a TNR, or have you seen TNRs before done that don't involve playing cards? Because the obvious is to go to playing cards, right?
Yeah.
Everyone does that. But in certain circumstances, I think they can make a lot more sense than they do. For example, like a torn and restored book page could make sense. Because people have had books where the page torn out, or a newspaper page torn out.
Look at any of my kids' children books.
Yeah, literally the same.
Oh no, library books. No, what have you done?
Craig's muted himself, which is hilarious because it happens every time.
Nope.
Craig, you need to press Command and the comma button and then choose... No, you do. You need to choose the mic in audio settings or unplug your mic. Ben, continue.
Well, yeah, no, it's funny you were saying stuff apart from cards, because Sean Farquhar's Torn to Pieces has been in my repertoire for years now. Absolute years. I love it. It's I really love it, but I've had it a couple of times And I never thought I would, because I never thought to do it myself when I first saw it. But I've had it a couple of times where I've seen people with the restored photo that's mismade, and they've torn it back up to match it back up the other way around.
No.
Like, oh. So I played around with using like scoring. Is Craig back?
He's back.
He's back.
Shit.
I think we should do an entire podcast. It's called Craig Hates Technology.
I fucking hate technology.
And it's just Craig sitting in silence while I chastise him for his lack of ability.
Hang on.
The magic of Nick Carrick says, "What's up, guys? Hope everything's good on your side of the pond." Everything is good. We've got Nigel Quinn, and thank you, Nick.
Nick's my bro.
I love Richard Young's changing card. I love Richard Young's changing card too. I've seen it. Jay Kelly says, "Counterfeit by Wayne Houchin with a business card, maybe." Yes, that's a fantastic effect. I actually worked and released an effect that had like heavy inspiration from like 2 of the stages of Counterfeit. It was called Restored, and I released it on the Wire. And it was like the best-selling trick of whatever year that was or something. Matty says, Abraxas says, "Poor Craig looks like my dad trying to work FaceTime."
My old teacher trying to use a VHS.
So Jordan said, "Lloyd, I'm getting a curry in a bit. You're a good master. What should I get?" I think he means food master, but I'm going to accept good master. Craig, honestly, I would just unplug the mic because your audio is fine without it.
He spent good money on that.
I know. Is that better?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, that was money well spent, wasn't it? There we go. Right.
That was the funniest. I hope that was just improv.
Hey.
Rich, yes, I need to message you back. I am still free tomorrow to jam. I'll message you after this. Okay, so back to Rich's first question. Toner Restoreds without playing cards.
Yes.
Well, I don't think it's a problem using a playing card as long as you... Well, to be honest, I don't think it's a problem using a playing card, but there's some really nice justifications. I remember in a Darwin Ortiz routine out of one of his first books, he had a routine, I think it was called The Marker, and he had a playing card, and he wrote a line at the bottom of it, and he's like, "Can you sign that right there?" And then he wrote at the top, "I owe you $100. And then he said, "This is now a marker between you and me, and it's been signed." And he told this story about how he wanted to tear up the marker, so that, and then restored the card that was signed. But it was not just a torn and restored card for the sake of it, but it was like justifying the use of it by telling this whole story of, do you know what a marker is in a poker game? Well, the whole point of it is, you owe somebody money, you sign a card. So I as long as you justify it, then a playing card can be just as good as anything.
I totally think it can. I mean, guys, like, do you remember the first time you seen Torn or Sword card?
Yes. What
was your first one?
My first one was actually J.C. Wagner's. It was on a VHS. It was a fully restored piece by piece. And
J.C. Wagner's, that was my first one as well. He never restored the last piece.
No, there's one which the last piece does restore, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd have to dig it out. It'd be up in the attic in my box of VHSs or something. But I remember seeing those 2 pieces come together, and then it was just like that moment where they touched, they were together. It was like, what? No. Do you know? It was a bit like the first time you see a double lift or something like that. It's like, what? No, it was just one of those that shouldn't happen moments. And I talk about this in lectures quite a lot. I think you have to try and remember how you felt when you first saw magic, because once you've learned so many methods, you kind of think that they're obvious to other people, and they're totally not. They're mind blowing, and you got to hold on to that. So yeah, I very much remember those 2 pieces just coming together, and oh mate, it was just like, oh. Yeah. So,
Craig, what about you?
I think I got from it. It's the best way
Magic boner.
Yeah.
Craig, do you remember what your reaction was seeing it for the first time?
Yeah, I was blown away. I mean, it's an amazing plot. It really is. One of J.C. Wagner, the thing that J.C. Wagner made famous is he used to do his version of Tournament Restored Card with the jumbo card behind the bar. So he'd actually have a jumbo card and he'd do TNR with a jumbo card, which was just
crazy.
Just piece by piece restoration of a jumbo card, which is just insane.
Think of the flaps on that, the angles.
But I mean, first time I was just floored by a trick, like absolutely floored, was when I saw Guy Hollingsworth do his version live.
Was that on the world's 50th greatest magic?
World's greatest magic, I think it was.
Oh, you saw it?
I saw it live. I'd never seen it.
Oh, you've seen it live? Wow.
Yeah, my world just ended at that point. I just like being floored with his waving the aces.
Yes.
And then he did this, and I was just a puddle on the floor. I was
And a puddle in your pants. Sorry, bringing the tone down.
fucking ridiculous. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
So my first time seeing TNR was the Hollingworth one, but on TV as a kid. So it was the very first Tournament Restore card I ever seen. Was like one of the best ones ever. It wasn't like the Copfield one, and it was on TV. But the thing that I think about it is like knowing like what everyone like Magic's progressed since then. Like Guy Hollingworth's sort of like the grandfather of it. I think like, you know, there's better methods out there. And I don't think that's offensive to say because it's like been 30 years since and people have progressed so far. But what's amazing to me is that is realizing that had such like an impact on me, regardless of what method he used. It was just the notion of doing it, right? And obviously I think like Craig said, him seeing it live, anyone that sees a TNR like that for the first time, it is astounding. And we're just fortunate enough to be in a lifetime where the methods have gotten potentially better. I know, because you know it is an absolute knuckle buster of a move, and then you see ones out there like Houchin's counterfeit and thing, which imagine seeing the impact of that. Not knowing Magic as a child now, that's what fascinates me.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you say what other versions of Torn and Restored card are there without playing cards? There's millions, but we don't think of them as Torn and Restored. Like you look at a ripped up and restored bill. And that's basically a TNR. You look at Torn and Restored newspaper, which has been around for years. That's that's basically a Torn and Restored card. You think about something like Healed and Sealed with a Coke can, and that's basically the same sort of thing. You've got this can that's all mashed up, and you're fixing it. It's one of the first
restoration.
If you could really do Magic, one of the first things you'd probably be able to do is fix something that broke. I mean, look at Harry Potter. The first things we ever see in Harry Potter is his glasses get broken and Hermione goes Oculus Reparo. And, you know, it's something that you would, or if you could do real magic, you'd fix something that broke. I've been working on a...
If I could do real magic, I definitely wouldn't help that nerd.
I've been working on a Torn and Restored close-up pad. And I've been practicing on this thing called N pad. I've got the broken part down.
Nothing's saving that. Nothing. Not even real magic is saving that.
No, I think there's you can also like the sugar packet where you tear open a sugar packet, you vanish the sugar, make it reappear, and then you put it all back together again. Like you know, I do that a lot actually because I do coin in sugar packet. So you know, every once in a while I'll just stick it all back together and chuck it down, and they're like, "What? Hang on, no, now I'm broken." Like as if they weren't broken enough before. But yeah, and I also on Mark James had his Supercharged, which came out with Russ Stevens, and on there he had a Torn and Restored Skittles packet. So you ripped open the Skittles packet, toasted a few out, and then you ate them, and then you healed the packet back together. And that was a nice kind of premise, because the idea is that you're just sneaking a few sweets out that nobody can tell because you put it all back together again. And you know, I quite like that.
Years ago, back in the day, back when Sankey was good, he put out that thing called cut and restrawed, which was taking a straw, cutting it to bits and restoring it at the fingertips, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
I think
his cardboard contortions or something as well, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he's done a credit card. He put a credit card in a.
Yeah, that was like "Thank you very much" or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, which was a really great idea. Because you talk about how you can make it personal. Borrowing a credit card, cutting a credit card up into two, and then putting it back together. That was how you make it personal.
Did you see it where he snaps it?
Well, yeah, I remember
the snap.
Yeah.
Is
that the one that had the really jagged pieces on it? Or was it? Do you remember that one?
That was David Regal.
David Regal. I couldn't think of the name. I could not think of the name. So I suppose then the question was: do we know of any other tournament restore cards that use objects that are not playing cards? So, but I think then before we get any deeper, we need to figure out the distinction, right? So with playing cards, we're going to say, just for the sake of this live stream, that torn and restored, or we're going to refer to playing card versions. And anything else, for the sake of this live stream, is not going to be covered under torn and restored then, right? This is Rich's fault for completely setting us on a tangent.
I think, yeah.
Because
I think there's I do a lot of stuff with photos, and I think there's a lot that you can take from the torn and restored and put them to photos.
Yeah,
and to business cards as well. But yeah, I wrote down a list. I started because it's crazy actually if you think about how many there are out there and how many variations there are. Because one of my all-time favourites is torched and restored. Which is like a torn into 4 pieces, but a flash restoration. I've never really been that much of a fan of flash restorations, but torched and restored is such a worker, such a great trick.
By Brent Braun, right?
Yeah.
Craig, have you ever interviewed him?
Funnily enough, Lloyd Barnes, I'm staying up till midnight tonight.
No.
Yeah.
What? See, I'm psychic. I knew that.
Yeah, midnight tonight. I'm doing an interview with Brent.
That's going to be amazing. I'm going to watch that. So going back to TNRs, I suppose then we should divide them up into the subcontext, the subcategories, right? Because there's piece by piece torn and restored cards. Then there's torn and restored cards that uses one corner, which is a popular one. And there's also then the torn and restored cards depending on where they happen. Do they happen at chest height? Do they happen at waist level? Because these all change the context of them and the appearance of them, right? So are they ones that happen on top of the deck? Are there ones that happen without the card? Are there ones that happen just by tearing a card in no particular fashion? And then you have, which type of restoration do you want? Do you want flash restorations? Do you want slow motion restorations? Do you want in the spectator's hands restorations? So I'd like to talk about which of these you prefer, or is there anything that you don't like about TNRs that you'd specifically think, do you know what, TNR is such a popular topic and popular effect, I just can't stand it when people do X, Y, Z.
Oh, I like methods where it's impromptu.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of methods out there that aren't impromptu, and that's fine, and there's some great ones, but I like methods that are impromptu. One of my favourite off-the-cuff ways to restore a card, just as like a bit of a giveaway, and they did it in the context of a transposition, but you can do it as a restore. Lee Smith and Gary Jones. Did you ever see a little bit of TTR off their Eye Candy DVD?
No.
I watched Eye Candy.
Basically, they do a torn and restored. If you do now, I don't do this. I'd like to preface that by I do not do this move. But it'll give you an idea. If I just come down here, so what you do is you've got a regular deck of cards, and it's just a really simple thing. You do a double turnover, right? And you have somebody sign this card. I haven't got a Sharpie with me, but you'd have somebody sign this card. You do a double turnover, and then what you do is you take it off. And so you take this one off, the signed cards there, and you actually tear the corner off the card like this. So you just tear the corner off, and then you put the corner away in your pocket. And they've got this really nice idea of using an Erdnase chain. So what you do is you put this in your pocket, and you put it down there for a minute, and you say, look, you can see the torn corner, and then what you do is you just come over and you do some, and as I say, I don't do this, but they do some sort of Erdnase change and rub, and then when they rub, the corner's back, and then you just wrist kill, and you show that the corner's jumped out the pocket back onto the card. It's just like...
Do you know, I bet, because, you know, I overthink so much, but I bet that would be so powerful to a spectator.
Yeah. I mean, as a magician, you look at that and you think, okay, so what?
Yeah.
To a layman, a simple double lift and like a variation on the Erdnase, and he got them to hold on to it. It restores in their hand, and then you immediately have them turn it over.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So it's not, and that's not a piece by piece restoration, but it is a torn and restored card. And what's nice about it it doesn't have that flash feel that a lot of impromptu torn and restored cards sort of need to have.
Yeah.
You know, the flash ones where it's like, it just happens so quickly they don't really know what happens. It does have that feeling that it's not just flash. So I quite like that, actually. And whose is it? I've never seen it.
They actually do it as part of a transposition as well. So they have one card that goes in the pocket, and then it's taken. I can't remember exactly how it is now, but they give the corner to somebody. They take a card, and I can't remember now, but they end up with the corner in there. They think this is the corner in their hand, but it's actually the corner changes. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on with it. But just that simple. For years, when I was working restaurants, I would do that as a really simple thing, and I'd just literally tear the corner off and just restore it and give it them.
I do that sometimes just at gigs if I'm, if I usually tend to do it for the sort of kids, but like when you're doing a bit of ambitious or something like that, you've got a card signed, and then I turn the double back over, take off the top card and just tear it up, and then just do a false transfer and just press my hand down on the deck and then go turn it over, and they turn over the top card again. So it's kind of like a phase of ambitious.
Oh, that's good.
The other thing that's killer, I've got a couple of other torn and restored cards that I've just thought of. Tool by David Stone.
Yeah, I've got that written down. Yeah.
Has you can do a killer torn and restored card with torn, can't you? I mean, with Tool. So many people don't use Tool, but I mean, it's a regular deck of cards, and you can use the card box. You can have it set or not have it set. And the other thing is, if you've seen the new trick by Roddy McGee, Puzzled, that's a torn and restored card, but it's a torn and restored card that actually has a purpose. Because you're showing these puzzle pieces, you're doing that old classic illusion of taking a piece away and you've still got a full card, but then you finish off by restoring the whole card and showing it them, and
Yeah, it's really smart, that one. It all sort of makes sense. It ties it all up.
Yeah, because I think that's a premise which I played around with. I was going to show maybe a bit later. I released a couple of booklets, one called Repertoire, and I
remember this. Was it a PDF as well?
Yeah.
And the front cover was spray painted style.
Volume 2 as well, didn't you?
Yeah. And I played around with the idea of a TNR with there where you don't actually tear the card.
What?
Yeah. So, well, it's essentially you're doing things like you're kind of making a piece appear, and then you kind of like you give it a little wave, and then you make another piece appear.
Oh.
And the whole time you can show everything front and back, and then you get the third piece, and the third piece appears, and so you're kind of like painting the card out of thin air. And then the fourth piece, you produce the fourth piece as you get a lighter, and then you essentially what you're doing is you're folding that back up, you're going for a lighter, switching it for a full card, giving it to them, so they think that they've got the 3/4 piece, they've got a full card in their hand now. You go back to your other
crossing the gaze switch.
Yeah, the crossing the gaze switch. You pull out a lighter, and you actually have the piece with it, and then you go like this, and you make the fourth piece appear, and then you do a little vanish, and then it reappears inside their hand. So then open that, and they got the fully restored card in their hand. So you never actually tear the card. It's kind of like a weird restoration effect. And I toyed around with that whole idea of like, just playing around with just turning it on its head a bit.
Yeah.
Like, see, because I went through a whole phase of doing loads of coin manipulation moves with playing cards and stuff. And that's just one of the ideas that kind of came out from that. So I think there's
super interesting. Like, and the fact that you don't really need to, you can set that up in a second and go.
Yeah, it's a weird. I don't know. There's so much. I suppose what you want to do is it depends on whether you want to feel like it's just kind of a bit off the cuff magic-y kind of thing, or whether you want to do a whole, hey, look at this and performance piece out of it. I think if you want to do a performance piece, and something like a piece by piece slow restoration is just beautiful, And
well, that's what I think Midrin in the chat is alluding to. That he said there's something to be said about the theatre of it.
Right, yeah, of course, yeah.
The theatre of a tournament.
It reminds me a bit, Ben, what you've done. Have you seen Roddy McGee's new coin trick?
Coinception.
Yes, yeah. It looks really good.
I've seen it. I haven't actually seen it. I can't wait to see Roddy at Blackpool. And
it's a bit. It follows a similar pattern. He basically produces coin bit by bit.
Yes.
What you just showed with the card.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, he's such a
beast at creating.
For being such a great thinker, isn't he?
So I was playing around earlier with a really silly idea, but it's nothing to do. Well, it is tournament restored, but it's not tournament restored, because basically to everyone in the chat, and we've got like Nevio, Punk BMX, we've got Nigel Quint is talking about Roddy McGee's Coinception. We've got Matty. So when we, I don't know how much any of us prepared, but basically, we decided to do this call today and do TNRs, and the plan was to prepare some custom ones, and instead I didn't. So really quickly I was like, what can I do for a TNR? And this is like just before I'm calling. So I play with this, and this is like it's like you don't need me to teach you how this works, but I'll show it to you anyway, because it's not a TNR. It's a bit like different. So I've got a card with a corner missing out of it. Can you see? That's terrible lighting. If I shake, it's supposed to jump sides. The shadow is so bad this side. Wait, so let me try it with this. So
all that thought you put into your lighting.
That's better. Hide the shadow. So I just got a double backer.
It's a fun little visual.
And I just used tape either side of it. But I just thought it's something a bit different. Like, you definitely need better light there. And just turn it with your. Couldn't be bothered to put thread on it, to like elastic thread.
You do that without? Couldn't you do that? So I've just grabbed a double backer. Couldn't you do that if you shook fast enough without the gimmick, just with the double backer and go?
Yeah, but that's the point. I was thinking that, but
isn't that gimmick for gimmick's sake, Lloyd?
But look at the hand positions. I was thinking that is true.
Like just fucking.
How about that I flash as well?
Double fucking backer. Hang on, I'll get my torch.
No, but there is something nice about this visual of like everything stays in place, except for the corner.
Yeah.
I was totally moving. When I was trying to do it, then I forgot. So that instead, I was trying to reach for this side, but what you need to do is just go either side of the center, and that'll make it go faster. So. Yes, you could totally do it. Wait there, let me get a double backer and show you how I would do it then, impromptu Craig Petty style. Is it?
Do you know what I want to see?
Oh fuck!
I want to see Lloyd. I want to see you do it in slow motion.
This.
It's slow motion moves around the top to the other side.
Like that. Okay, yeah, Craig, now you do it impromptu, you fucker.
Okay. Well, it's a double backer, so it's not very fucking impromptu, is it? No. Right. Well, it's not gonna. Ooh, there you go. That's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. No, but you could do this and no that shit. I don't know, but I'm just saying. Look, you get that. It's.
Well, the idea I was going with it was going to be, I can't remember how I did this. That you'd tear, it would be like an impossible object thing. So you'd tear a corner off and hand it to someone, so it's the matching corner. And then you'd say, I'm going to show you something impossible, and you're going to be left holding something which can't exist. And then you do this, and now the corner wouldn't match, and they'd be like, oh, what the fuck? And then and then you'd switch it out, because it's a double backer, so it'd be easy to turn over on top. And then they've just got this thing which doesn't match.
Right.
How about this for an idea? You have your pre-torn double backer, right? And you draw with a Sharpie marker.
I have such an awful joke that would get me cancelled so fast right now.
Look, you draw a line around that side, right? And then you bring it out and you say, look, I've got this. I mean, it needs some better
Oh,
routine.
yeah.
Look, I've got this card. I'm going to tear the corner off. So what you do is you tear the corner around that hole, right?
Yeah.
So pretend I haven't torn the corner off, but I've got that drawn there. So what I do is I bring this out and I say, look, I'm going to tear this corner off. And they see the corner's torn off. And then I draw a line here.
Oh, right.
Nice. Yeah, so it sets it up before and after.
I say, watch.
Yeah.
Make it jump over into in between the...
Do you know that?
Yeah,
that reminds
that's
me of Carl Purnell's, is it Hancock effect?
Yeah, a little bit. But you can have a double backer just prepped with a line on that side. That's it.
Do you know what?
So you bring it out. So you just tear the corner off. You then draw a line.
I used to have a moving hole effect like that, where I would draw the hole.
That ain't that bad, you know.
Do you know what, Craig? Adding that line really adds to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right, or even an arrow.
Yeah, something like that. Just
so okay, let me do this.
actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And what you use is you use an intercessor. So you've got.
Isn't that illegal in most countries?
Use an intercessor.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I thought.
So you've got a pre-torn card with exactly the same type of tear. That's second from top. You take your double backer, you do your double turnover, you do the move, and then it jumps.
So there's an arrow. I need to use a red back card then to draw the arrow, but...
Yeah, you see, marking the card really makes a difference.
Yeah, it really does.
Punk BMX says, I'm going to make that up in a minute. Well, if you do want to make it up, then...
No, it's mine, not yours.
Oh, fuck it. I just took a corner off a double backer and double stick taped it with magic tape, even though it doesn't matter because you never see the back. But...
Nobody cares. He wants to make mine, not yours.
Yours is a fucking line on a double backer, you prick. Sorry.
Yes. There's no fanning around with double sticky tape. It's not fucking Blue Peter.
I cannot wait for this magic podcast at Blackpool. Like, there's going to be fists and everything thrown.
Just to let you know, for the Magic Podcast Live, I've just gone on Amazon and ordered 10 blow-up sheep. Just saying. Anyway, this side. So yeah, you just bring it out. Pretend that's not. Oh, I've got another double backer. Yes, I have. Result. Wait there 1 minute. Hang on.
Well, while you do that, Molly Mayhem says, this is Matty on my creator channel to give you another like. It's not a gender fluid thing. Molly is my doggo. Jordan, I hope you enjoy your curry, by the way, because Jordan's ordered his curry. He's gone for a booner.
So, we have our double backer.
And a bunch of side dishes in my name. Okay, go on.
Double backer, right? So you would have this taken out of a deck. You can do a double turnover or something. You can routine it properly later. But you have this. And so what you do is you tear the corner off first of all. So you say, I've got this card. I'm going to tear the corner off. You very, very cleanly tear the corner off the card. And then you say, look, now the corner's torn off. Can you see that? Is that showing up? Yeah? I'm going to draw a line here. So then they see the line. So you've openly set it up in front of them. They saw the corner torn off. They saw the line. And you go, watch. And you make it jump into the line.
I just had such a...
Nice.
Wait, do it again.
Bad, is it?
Do it again,
Now,
Craig.
now restore it. Because that's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, what the fuck, mate? You could do it, like...
Did you see it?
That's a really interesting visual, to be honest. I really quite like that.
So you draw it like that. What if you came over like this and then... Somebody released a TNR, didn't they, where it's an impromptu one and the ending is you hide the corner. So you pretend that you like restore it here. So like you...
Oh,
do you remember that? Like you show this and then you're like...
It's like the third... There's like a 3-piece or something, isn't it? And they kind of shake it. And as they shake it, they're turning it around in their hand. They've got like
So you just give me an
like
idea.
That, and then they go in the 4th piece and they shake it and turn it around or something, isn't it?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I can't remember who that was. But yeah, Rich Relish has just posted up the what you were saying about using an intercessor as well.
You love the intercessor, don't you, Ben? You've used it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a bunch of stuff.
If you used an intercessor, you could clean that whole thing up if you wanted to. because you can have a card picked just by making sure the tear is down this side. So you can do like a Gary let touch force or something, up jog, let them see the card. Then you could very, very easily just do a second deal off the top of the deck, taking the double back, or just do a double turnover. Just do a double turnover because it's a double backer. So you do a double turnover, do the thing. You're left with the card on the top of the deck, which is risk killed. You do the thing. You do the routine that I just showed you. You make sure that on the back of the regular card, you've already got that line drawn on it. You then take the card back when you've made the tear jump. You put it back on top of the deck. You just do a double turnover. It's a double backer, so they won't see anything, and just hand it out to them, and it's left.
Yes.
And
Wouldn't
I
it
don't
be
think you'd want to
cool?
restore that card because they'd be left with that visual moment. They'd be left with a card with a tear inside that blue line, and it'd be like, well, you know, it was over there, and he made it jump over there.
Wouldn't it be cool if you had two cards, one with a corner missing, and then one where you've drawn a line like this, right? And
Well, complicated yet again, Ben. I mean, Lloyd.
No. So you openly display two cards, right? And then you draw a line on this one, and then one here. So this is the effect, not the trick, not the method. So then you square them up so they can see like this that they line up, and then this could be dry erase, and when you go, it now fuses, and this could have an odd corner, and it's back to one card, and it'd be a lush visual of wiping the dry erase off.
Yeah, that would be very lush.
Lush. Fucking lush, boys.
Seen that Sankey thing he does where the tear jumps from one card to the other?
Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking amazing.
Oh, you just reminded me of a Sankey one where he rips the corner. He rips a bit of the card like this, and then he puts a plaster over it.
Oh yeah. Band-Aid.
And it's healed back up.
Yeah, that's a great trick. So this here, for anybody who's watching this, if you want a quick Sankey trick that you can do straight away, this is sick. All you need to do is get yourself a dupe. So in this case, I'm using a 10 of diamonds, right? And you just make sure that the setup is like this. So you've got 10 of diamonds, ace of spades, 10 of diamonds. Just do a riffle force and do a double turnover to show the ace. And you take the ace off, and you actually just, which is really the 10, but they think it's the ace, and you just do a tear here. So you just do a tear on that card, and you say, look, we'll leave the ace there with the tear in it. And you say, look, somebody else, they stop. They say stop. And you go, okay, let's have a look at this card and see what this one is. And you've got the 10. And you go, okay, we'll use the 10, watch the 10. And then all you do, and that's obviously the ace, you do that old move that you normally do with a signature. So you just say, look, I'm going to pull on the tear once, twice, 3 times, and then you say, look, the tear's gone off the ace.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now it's on the 10, and you give them the 10.
That's actually such a good trick.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
That's a nice promo. Yeah.
That the tear jumping from one card to the other is really cool.
Mm.
It's really good. While you were talking, I was trying this idea, which is I show a card with the line on it and the tear, right? So then I can show you it's got the line, see it?
Yeah.
And then in slow motion, it's going to melt and fuse. That's actually the line. That was supposed to be a shadow. So it's... So it looks like the line, and then in slow motion, that line's going to vanish. And sort of restore the card. Can you see where I'm going with it? So it's a way of doing it like a slow motion visual restore. So they think it's a drawn line, and then that line vanishes. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Using the shadow.
So I'd show that. I'd show this. I'd come together. I'd say, watch the line. You can see the pen line, and then in slow motion, it's gonna restore, kind of.
Yeah.
Can you see what I'm thinking with it? It's a shit idea, but it's something because it's so angle sensitive.
No, it was amazing, Lloyd.
Do you know what's amazing? Would be if you knew how to turn your fucking microphone on.
Good point.
That would be a miracle. Someone said a Sankey one sounds painful. That was Punk BMX. Alex Bow is asking, when's the app out?
Move on, Lloyd.
Create Magic. Hey guys and girls, sorry I'm late. Just finished watching the new Scream film. How was it? How was the Scream film, man?
Do you know, I don't know if you can improve on the first Scream film. It's a bit like Saw. Not that we need to go off in this tangent. But
no, but it's relevant if you saw something in half. By the way, isn't Charlie Fry's Tornado Car one of the best ones of all time? Just throwing that out there.
Charlie Fry's, which one's that?
Charlie Fry's Tornado Car. Have you never seen it?
Don't know.
Torn and refried or something, isn't it?
You've never seen the fucking Charlie Fry? Right.
Might have done. How is it?
Oh
Is
God!
it
Now I
is
have
it- is it
to.
on?
It's the one where you have the Queen like that and a card over it, and it's impromptu. Have you never seen it?
It's like a finale to a card warp.
Oh right, okay. So you're telling
No, it's not. No, he does it just as a standalone. Have you never seen it? Oh my God! I wonder if I can show everyone on the Discord then. If I can pull it, I can't remember it the method enough to. Charlie Fry, ripped and fried. That's it, isn't it? To. Let me see if I can do this. It's so good. Well, oh no, you're right. It might be he's got it warped and fried here. Let me just watch. Somebody talk as I play this.
As he gets his kicks from some video online.
I'm just watching dirty videos, really.
We have to pad and make his YouTube channel like good because he can't even be honest.
Okay, I think I know how to do this. So I'm gonna add in.
Time, Ben. He just stops and watches his YouTube videos.
Didn't he confessed on the Magic podcast that he was watching the snooker?
Yeah,
Time.
I loved it, mate. It's on now. It's the final. It is. Device. Okay, I'm gonna add in this window. Image media source.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. Oh, that's definitely not the right thing to click on. Okay, yeah, it's window capture. Okay. And then we'll add in Safari, maybe.
Brilliant content.
Thank you. All right. This is Charlie Fry's Ripped and Fried. I can't believe you've never seen this, Ben. Or Craig.
I have, I think.
So this is like the tail end of the routine. Oh God, he's gone so out of frame. There we go. Can you see?
Nope.
I see you and Ben.
Oh, watch YouTube because it'll be on the screen on the stream on YouTube.
Oh, on the screen on YouTube. Hang
Yeah,
on.
look how good that is.
Should be. Oh, mate, I don't know where I am on this live because oh, there we go. All right, yeah, I'm with you.
How good is that? And it's impromptu.
Hang on.
He's still doing it.
Do you see my recommendation for the video after this was it was a Craig Petty video. Right, I'll play it again. Everyone ready to watch? Ready, Ben? Craig? Oh yeah, actually I'm ahead of you. Right, I'm playing it one more time anyway, and then
What the heck happened? What was that?
Right, yeah, watch it again. It's impromptu. So I'm playing it again now in the stream. You'll see.
Jeez.
Completely impromptu. Well, not completely. You have to do like 1 second of prep.
That's crazy.
It's the best one ever. It was in the Paul Harris's True Astonishment project.
Right, that doesn't surprise me.
As an Easter egg, I think. Charlie Fry's actually teaching it on there.
I don't remember seeing it on there.
Oh, it's so good.
Do you know what? I love Charlie Fry. He's such a nice bloke as well. Such a nice bloke.
You know him?
Yeah. He doesn't like me.
Sorry, Ben. You dropped the name there. He doesn't like you, Craig.
He hates me. I've got an email from many years ago when I was on the Wizard Pro review of all the reasons he hates me.
Give me 3.
Kept it because it was impressive.
Are you looking for it now?
So yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. So mate, that looked wicked. That looked super good. Super good.
Joey Miner's asking, so while Craig's doing this, Ben, for you, what do you think the best TNR on the market is?
It depends on what you're gunning for. It depends on what I think, it's a bit like music. Like Magic is like people have different tastes and have different needs and different wants and things like that. I'll go back to, for me as a worker, like practicality. If I'm going to go for, not something that I've kind of toyed around with and played around with myself, I've probably used Torched and Restored and, believe it or not, Slide the most.
By Titanus. Is that by Titanus?
And
yeah.
Perseus.
Titanus and Perseus.
Yeah, Perseus came up with the whole, like, I remember Perseus's first incarnation of the gimmick, and it was like, wow, that's crazy.
Perseus is a genius.
Yeah, how the gimmick that they ended up with, like, and
Titanus is a genius, obviously.
I worked on Titanus's stand at Blackpool one year, and he was literally like, just do Slide. Like, he was like, you can do Slide, you do Slide, everyone else do the other tricks. And I just sat there like the whole weekend just performing Slide. I loved it.
Did it sell like 1 million units?
Well, we sold out. Yeah, I don't know how many units he had, but yeah, it did sell out. And I just, do you know what? I had so much fun performing it because I started, because you sign one piece and they sign the other, and I was just like, do you know what? Like, this is if I tear us apart, then I'm like, right now I'm really sad, but the closer we get, the happier I feel. Until that moment when we touch,
and then I blow a load all over my thighs.
Because it's all mismade, I'm like, so we're back together, but it's not quite right yet. We still need a bit of time to mend it perfectly. And then like you do the cleanup and you hand them the card and you go, now that's me and you back together forever. And I do that.
It's a lovely presentation.
Yeah, I do that like at tables for blokes and stuff like that. It's just hilarious. It's just really funny.
I tell you my favourite one of all time, and it's Face Off by Ron Salamangero.
Yeah.
Because you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's absolute 100% real magic, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
I'd never even heard of that until just before Christmas, and I was doing a gig with Nemid, and every table I was going up to, they were going, "Oh, did you see? You good, but that guy was doing this trick. That guy was doing this trick," and I was like, "What the hell is he doing?" So I went up to Nem and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's called Face Off. This is it." I was like, "Fucking hell, that's amazing!"
It's insane.
I was like, "How long does it take?" I said, "How long does it take to make the gimmicks?" And he's like, "Forever."
Well, the funny thing is that when
I made 50 up, it took me 3 days. I'm never making any ever again.
The thing is, I flew to the Philippines to film that with him, and when we went to shoot, because he'd showed me the video of of the effect, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm coming to film you in the Philippines," and I didn't need the explanation to figure out how it worked. Right, to me, it was quite a linear thing. So we went there, got there, started filming, and then he starts to prep it. He pulled out like 4 playing cards, and I said, "Oh, we're gonna make a couple of gimmicks," and he was like, "No, this is how I make one gimmick." And I was like, "What do you need 4 cards for?" And he was like, "Because that's how many it takes." And I was like, "Oh, I always assumed you were just doing this with just
yeah,
because you just need 2 cards." And he was like on set, he was like, "Fucking hell!" Because that's the beauty of it. That was the beauty of it to me, is that yes, you have to prep it. It takes 5 minutes, but it just takes 2 cards and one other thing. But
yeah. I think I clocked the same thing as you.
And
that's how I set it up. I mean, to be fair, give a shout out to Benny Chickering as well, because he kind of had Siamese twins, I think it is, which is the same as Face Off. It's just vertical.
Yeah, there's a whole debate about the timings of that.
It's a brilliant idea, and it's such a great. Like, I do that at weddings as well for like the bride and groom. It's such a nice one because they both sign one piece of the card and then they're together. I mean,
the beauty of it is, if for anyone that hasn't seen Face Off by Ron Salamangero, it's 2 playing cards are taken, they're held back to back, and you can show that they're 2 cards, so there's not like, it's not a double facer, so you can show them like this.
Yeah.
They're both signed, you tear them in half, and they're both restored half and half. But the incredible thing is, the method is the secret in a way.
Yeah.
Because the moment they're torn is the moment they're restored.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's
isn't
amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I wish I'd created that. I think for me that's the most magical.
Ron's a clever guy. He's got some.
He's super
great
smart. He's got a really good bending impromptu spoon effect.
Really?
Nigel Quinn says Benny's Siamese waltz are great. Yeah, it's very simple. There was a whole discussion going back and forth via me at one point over whose was first, and then Ron would throw up a video from 6 years ago that was public, and then Benny was like, "Well, I got a private YouTube video from 7 years ago," and then it was like, "Well, Ron's got this one from when he was a kid," sort of back and forth the whole way. But I think at the end of it, it's sort of agreed to like sort of say one didn't copy the other.
I think they both clearly just came up with such a great concept together. You know, at the same time. I think these things happen. You know,
like, I think really the foundation for it maybe would have been from Blake Voigt's Torn Restored thing.
Right. Yeah.
But what you want to see with Ron's face off is the stuff he does with he does a TNR with it. Like a corner piece TNR where your cards are left with just a corner on it. He does a bunch of stuff with blank cards, and he just expands on on his concept so massively.
Because there's when you start like splitting cards and stuff. I mean, when you start to actually split cards and you get to actually really what. Do you ever get that?
No, because I'm not. I'm better than you. I'm kidding.
I'll tell you what. Let's just.
Ben, you need to get better at that stuff.
Wait, what the fuck was that? Was that what did you just do? What was that? Do it again.
Do it again. This is something that I played with. This was like I came up with this literally earlier. Well, it wasn't earlier today. I'll show you where it kind of came from. But I thought, like, I was thinking, like, if I'm going to do a torn and restored on this thing, that's like something that's new, I want to do it like not something that I do for lay people, like do it for magicians. And I suddenly thought, like, splitting cards. And so the whole idea is you take a card and you get the corner and you start to split it.
Man, you fucked me up completely with that.
You can split it, but obviously it fucks up basically, and then you take it and then you can heal it back together.
Ben wins. Whoa, that looks like it's back together. Like you can. That's so good.
It's not good for lay people, but for magicians.
Wait, why is it not good for lay people?
Because do you know what? I do stuff with layers of playing cards. I don't want lay people to know about layers of playing cards. Essentially, you know. Yeah,
but you could do it you could do it like as if a piece is peeled off, and then be like, oh no.
So I'll tell you where it actually came from.
Is it the not the Paul Harris thing? Yeah, the Paul Harris wallpaper.
I was playing around with the idea of doing it with a beer bottle. You know, you ever pick on a label with a beer bottle and you rip a bit off.
Yeah.
And I was playing around with that kind of visual, and then like trying to think of a way of kind of maybe restoring that on a bottle, and having essentially. You
did it! Oh shit!
I mean that was really messy and really really crap. I mean, but the idea is there, and it stems from that. You know, the old wallpaper tear.
Yes.
Yeah, it's essentially that. And
but you
so
did it. So
I was thinking, like, you have this whole thing, and if you had that you could stick to a bottle, but then you had an extra piece on top of it, then you could just come over and just say, do you ever play around, like try and rip a beer label off? And then you could just, just obviously like then just come up and give it a rub and heal the bottle or do it properly.
How did you do the card one? Because it looks like you stuck something down on that one and it was just like perfect.
So the card one is, so I don't know if this is going to look perfect a third time without But this is
Punk BMX says so good, Ben. Yeah, let's give it up for Ben in the chat if you like those performances. Let's get a fisty bump for Ben in the chat. Let's all give Ben a fist in.
that's train. So it's kind of like messily made up here. 'Cause I had limited time to put this together. But what it is you have this piece here, and that's a peeled piece off the card. That's just got repositional glue on it, so you just peel that off.
Yeah.
And that's the tear bit. I just thought, just throw that away. But then this is actually, it pops off and flips around to the other side.
Piss off, you dog shit. That was so much better than... that was great.
So it's there, and then you take it, as you pop it this side, you're popping it, and then you turn it around and heel it.
Dude, so they can get a really good look at that back piece.
Yeah.
Wow. Alex Bow, Molly Mayhem, Jordan, Nick Carrick are all fist bumping you right now, man.
Sick.
Punk BMX says, give Ben a Sankey one.
Have you ever seen Bizarro? I do a lot of stuff with jumbo coins. Have you ever seen Bizarro's chocolate coin with jumbo coins?
Not with
You can get it
jumbo
off his site.
coins.
This is the gimmick. I haven't got a jumbo coin with me, but I've got this left over from a gig the other night. It's basically half a jumbo coin, right? But you peel it off and it's brown inside and it looks like a jumbo coin. So after you produce the jumbo coin, you have this in palm. You just load it over the jumbo coin, and if you've ever done jumbo coin stuff, everyone goes, "Oh, is it chocolate?" You get that all the fucking time. So you just load this on and you go, "Actually, it is. Yeah, look, let me just peel it off," and you peel it open so they can see that it's chocolate on the inside. And then you just heel it and steal it off again, and you give it them. You go, "No, I'm just joking," and you give it them, and now it's just topic. But that reminded me.
I can see where the connection went. Yeah, that's so good. Create Magic, Nigel Quinn, Juan Jimenez says so good. Fisty bumps coming in, like, dude, that was so good.
I thought, like, do you know? Because that also threw out the idea of, like, or just the thought of, do you really need to actually put the piece back to restore something?
Well, also, do you even need to take it off in the first place? For example, if it's like if you've peeled the back off, you could be facing it towards yourself and be like, like not even have it like an angle Z sort of thing.
You could do, yeah.
And then just pretend that you're doing it.
What do I do with the card? Oh, I chucked it there. So yeah, I mean, because I was trying to think of like, if I peel this off, if I just say, I'm going to split a card for a reason to show you, and then I'm like, does that ever happen to you, kind of thing, and have you like, I just wanted to sucker you in basically, and then I was trying to think of a way of like, if I stuck that back and then did the restoration, but then I was like, that's not really, that's going to like send alarm bells that I'm about to do something. So the whole idea, I was like, well, if you just got rid of that.
Yeah, you really caught me off guard.
You could just heel it there.
You know how you can make it work in the real world, Ben, from a presentational point of view,
right?
Rather than having it look like it's been split, have the gimmick look like it's a red card and you're peeling back and showing a red card underneath. So you do a color changing deck where the deck turns from red to blue, and then you say, well, let me explain how that works. Let me take one of the cards and explain. They're still red. You just can't see them because I've covered them in blue. Look, if I rip the blue off.
Peel that piece off.
Yeah, see the red underneath. Of course, I don't want to use a red deck. I want to use a blue deck, and then you just rub it, and now it turns back into turns back into a blue card. You throw that back in the deck, and you're left with whatever routine you want to do. So it's like a finale to a color changing deck.
That's a sweet idea, actually. That's a really nice idea.
You do that, and then you're not having to worry about exposing card splitting.
Yes.
That's kind of a really funny thing where it's like, well, you've just done this color-changing deck, and it's like a pseudo-explanation. Let me explain how it works. You'd fuck them up.
Yes. Yeah, because I do color-changing deck.
Well, there you go. That would be a killer ending to a color-changing deck.
That would be.
Wouldn't it be cool as if instead of it having... So you prepare it by putting some sort of like sprayed chalk on it, so it looks like you peel the card off, and it's white on the inside, like a layer, and then you can like rub, and it restores itself visually because you're just rubbing the chalk off.
Mm.
You know, you say think it's the inside layer, but it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
think.
I remember seeing years ago a guy called David Fuld who had a great method to remove creases off for a piece by piece torn and restored card. You'd end with creases on it, so he drew the creases in chalk.
Yes.
Remember that? I think Sean Fields asked him could he use the same method in something, so we do that. But it was you remove the creases from the card by rubbing off the chalk, and I'm guessing if you did it on a bigger, expansive piece, you get like a visual. So you could even flick the chalk off, possibly. What if you peel it off, but the paper area is fucking flash paper. So then you light that, so it looks like the inside layer. It's white, and then you light the flash paper, and it fire restores it. So instead of it being an inside layer, it's flash paper that looks like the inside layer, right? It's just like an awkward tear shape, and then the piece that you tear off, you match it to the same shape as the flash paper, so it looks like that, and then you get like a really great flash restoration.
That would for lay people, that would work insane on a bottle, actually.
I had a card to bottle method, which was black flash paper inside a Budweiser bottle with a card with white space under it, like that. So that'd be black flash paper inside a bottle, so they could see it looked empty with a black. But you wouldn't even need a black T-shirt, and then you drop a match in there, and then that card burns into appearance. But the air in the beer bottle kept putting the match out. So I had to experiment. It was for a TV show or something. But I had to experiment and put in a hole in the bottle just to get more air in, and it was just super awkward to do.
That reminds me of a time when I thought, wouldn't it be wicked if you had a £20 note? Off on a bit of a tangent. And
Adam Wilber says flash paper for the win. What up, Wilber?
Wilber, nice. So yeah, like I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if you showed a piece of paper front and back and you lit it and it just burnt into a £20 note? And I thought, right, I'm gonna have to go and try this. And so I wrapped this £20 note in flash paper front and back, and I lit it, and it just went, and this tiny corner of a £20 note just floated down to the ground.
You actually destroyed a 25.
Yeah.
I went through a phase of doing so much money magic, and I honestly spent like £400 on, especially when we still had paper bills, and splitting paper bills was all the rage. And that Rory Adams trick, did you ever see that Rory Adams trick, Craig? It was
It's inside.
So it was a tenner, fiver, £20 note where you would tear the corner off, hold it against the note, hold it up to the light, and then it would be inside the note.
Yes.
Angle Zero style.
So good.
Adam says, can't wait to see you guys next month in Blackpool. Ben, you're going to be able to make it this year. Adam, I've just texted you. Check your text.
Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm not going to be there on the Sunday because I've got to work. I've got a wedding fair. But I should be there Thursday, Friday, and some of Saturday. So yes, we will definitely jam. Definitely. Can't wait.
In about 10 minutes, I have to go for a bit. I will jump back. But before I do go,
yes.
I just wanted to share. So you mentioned JC Wagner's Torn and Restored card.
Mm.
But I've done the version for years where they don't restore the final piece. And I don't have an issue with it because I think it makes it more magical, that the fact that the final piece isn't restored. So you give it to them and it's like, hey, he put all these three back together. But a couple of years ago, I started using the JC Wagner Torn and Restored card with a WoW gimmick.
Oh, the final piece.
Huh?
Give me two. Wait there, 2 seconds. I'm just going to change the screen for a second, guys, and then I need to just do. I'm doing one thing super quickly. Everyone, brace yourselves.
What are you doing?
I shall show you.
It's because you said I've got to say something before I go quickly.
I know. So now I'm just doing this super quick.
What are you doing? What's he done?
You'll see in a minute.
What's going on?
By the way, everyone's just looking at me laughing like a maniac. So
Money to burn, punk BMX. Thanks for the love as well, everyone. Thank
Sorry,
you.
everyone, for forcing you to stare at my face.
I have literally no idea what's going on right now.
It's okay for a second. Just so everyone, comment below so far what you guys think of this chat and what you want to hear us talk about in regards to TNR. Is there anything we've glossed over that you haven't heard us talk about? Is there anything you want us specifically to focus in on? Let me know. Just as I do this one thing. I'm keeping Craig and Adam in suspense. Just give it away. Ben in suspense.
What is going on?
I'm just trying to add someone into our call.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Let's check out the chat. I'm going to read some things from the chat. Magicians jamming is so awesome to see.
Oh, right now I know.
We good? Yeah, buddy. All right, here we go. Yes. Trying to add someone into our call.
Oh, right.
Oh.
All right, there might be a bit of echo somewhere, so.
It's like a little bit of a delay.
Are we good?
There we go.
Yo, Wilber, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Yo, give it up for Adam Wilber in the chat, everyone.
Good to see you guys. Let me try and close everything out.
Tag you in so I can disappear in a minute.
You and the bloody references.
I'm surprised you're not out gigging, Craig.
I've only had 2 today, so, you know.
Well, there you go.
You actually.
Unreal. How you been, Ben?
I've been good, man. I've been really good, yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know. I actually recorded a 2 or 3 hour long interview with Craig the other day, explaining about where I've been, what I've been up to, and everything.
Yeah, you want to listen to that? It's coming out on Tuesday. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
Very
enjoying
cool.
life, loving the whole family thing, being a dad, loving performing. So yeah,
Awesome.
It's good. It's good.
Glad to hear. Are you making Blackpool?
I am. Yeah. Well, I should be there on the Thursday, the Friday, and the Saturday. But
Amazing.
I've got a wedding fair on Sunday. I've got to get the gigs back in because.
I hear you. I just had 3 canceled because of this whatever variant bullshit. And my son just tested positive for COVID today.
What?
My daughter had it last week. So now I don't get to see my kids for 2 weeks, and I'm going to Magi Fest on Wednesday. It'll be 3 weeks before I get to see my kids.
Oh, mate.
So sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm FaceTime and all that, but you know what? A kid's
Not
hug
the
is a
same.
lot different than FaceTime, you know?
You want them in your arms.
But, I mean, whatever. It's life, so.
So loads of loves coming in the chat for Wilber. We got people saying Adam Wilber, clap, love brother. Wow, what a lineup. We got Adam and the Lighters coming to Blackpool. Rich is
The
asking.
person who, in my opinion, made the greatest packet trick of 2021.
Oh, it's one of the
Thanks,
greatest
dude.
packet tricks ever, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I say you and Justin Miller because I got in trouble with Justin when I did the review and his name wasn't mentioned. So you and JM.
Is it even a review if you don't get in trouble with Justin Miller? I think that's just like that's a rite of passage these days.
I
'Cause
tried to
he's
get
the
on his
best.
good side. You know, I tried not to piss him off too much. I did that back in the day and it didn't end well. So
I remember all that, the magic off, and I
Yeah,
mean,
so
let's
these
be honest.
these
What
days-
great fucking marketing, dude.
These days I'm just a nice guy and I'm just nice and unless your name's Peter Egging. But anyway,
Right.
Well, the
Unless you buy magic trick just to steal people's money, then you see my dark side.
so can I mention this bow thing? So if you do the
JC Wagner.
JC Wagner, which I'll quickly perform for you. So imagine that I've forced a 5 of hearts because my wow is a 5 of hearts. And if you haven't seen the JC Wagner torn and restored card before, I genuinely think it's one of the best torn and restored cards there is. You take the card and you fold it in half. It can be signed, but if you're going to do, and you could sign it actually. You could get it signed. Yeah, you could get it signed with the way I'm doing it. So you could get it signed, but you'd have to direct them to sign it to the correct part. But you fold it up like this. I'm sure all of you guys have seen it, and then you say, "Look, I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it and tear it," and you can see that really is torn. There's no illusion there. It really is torn. I'm going to tear it all the way down, and I want you to see torn into 4 pieces. And that's what I love about this routine. It's so clean. So you say 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the whole idea of this is you give them one of these pieces to hold. So you give them this piece to hold onto. And you take these pieces and you say, watch. And you can get a lighter or whatever, and you can snap your fingers. And then you can take these 3 pieces,
That's cool.
and restore them and show them restored. And it's still the signed 5. And then and this piece fits exactly. So that's what the JC routine is. My idea is then to go and get yourself a wow and say, well, maybe you think I'm using sleight of hand. Don't actually have it activated. So maybe you think I'm using sleight of hand. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put it in this sleight of hand protector. And so you put it in there. And if you put it in there, you can actually see it. You can. I don't know how good that looks. You can see that it's in there and there's 1 piece left. And then all you have to do is take this piece and you say, look, I'll try and restore that last piece. I'll put it right there with the others. I don't know how good this will show up on camera.
Ah, it's dope, dude.
Yeah, it's so good. Shit.
And but it's actually restored. And then I say, of course, the problem is I don't want to give you this as a souvenir fully restored. I want you to remember the moment of magic. So you've still got the corner palmed. You just come out and take it like that.
I love it, dude.
Wow.
Take it out and you give them the corner. You give them the rest of the card and they keep it and you just put that away.
I love it.
So it's a way of restoring that final piece with the JC Wagner routine, getting a really visual final moment and then visibly pulling it off. And you have a reason for then giving it them not restored, because now you've restored it and they'll remember as it being restored, but then you've got that visual pop off and you say, I want you to have it like this. You know, if you can figure out a way to get that corner in there like I did, then let me know and I'll buy you a drink or whatever. And you see them all
Craig,
trying to do that.
Would it be... What are you laughing at? Someone said Craig and Ben both need to work on their backgrounds looking at Wilbur's.
I bought some lights.
Those lights are pathetic.
It's like, come on, I got ambiance.
Like a flight here, you know.
With this FU trophy, like
Yeah.
people on like decal on the wall.
Yeah, Adam's is sick.
Dude, this was my pandemic. All my virtual shows, like this is what's gave my kids food throughout this pandemic. And it's literally a $50 backdrop. I'm lucky my partner had a friend who has one of those CNCs. So he gave him the file and he did that for us. And it's like $25 backdrops and that's it. Other than that, if you saw the rest of my office, you'd be like, oh shit.
Dude, mine is exactly the same. Do you want to see how janky mine looks behind the scenes?
Exactly.
This is a fucking exercise bike. Like, it's so gross.
All that matters is what's in frame. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I'm leaving you guys to it.
Craig, you can't go until I tell you this idea.
Okay, go on.
So would it be better to have half a card?
Yeah.
So you restore like half a card for whatever reason, and then you have 2 final pieces. Now in the WoW, you make it fully restore, but then you take 1 piece out. So they see the visual of 2 pieces restoring in, but you take 1 away. So they got the proof of 1 visual restoration and 1 not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could do that. That wouldn't be too hard.
Because it's like it goes forward then back, but they still have proof at least of 1 piece that was... They watched that 1 piece at least visually restore, and it's still there. So it splits
I love
it.
that. Yeah, I like that. The other idea that I've got for people, it's not a torn and restored card, but you mentioned earlier on angle Z, which everybody does.
Yeah.
If you have a 5 of hearts prepped for an angle Z type routine, so imagine...
Craig, look at this.
That's very sick.
What the fuck? Again?
Uh-huh.
Again? I missed the first part of that. What the fuck, dude? That looks so good.
No,
Have you guys seen that before? Is that why you're not reacting?
No. I know Lloyd's...
It's a fucking change gimmick. It's an old one I never published.
You son of a bitch.
Well, if you want a version of that that's practical and not total bullshit.
Hey, just fooled me on camera, right?
Yeah.
If you want version of that that'll actually fucking work in the real world. You got your angle Z, right? So you got your card prepped, and you got your 5 apart. So you force this however you want to. You're holding it, covering up the corner. Look at how good this looks. You show this. Oh, hang on. Again, don't have it ready.
Working in the real world.
Yeah, right. So you put it in there. And check out how good this looks. You put it in there like that, and as you do, you push down, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it really looks like the 5 of hearts is in there.
Oh yeah, it does.
It
So
really.
like at the moment that the corner vanishes this
So
time.
now you can do the vanish of the corner. You can go watch.
That's
And-
pretty clever.
You can have the corner vanish. They then take the card out, and you can have it go anywhere you want to.
That's the only thing I didn't like about Angle Z is this fucking false tear thing. I get it. It looks good. It fools people, but letting them see the corner vanish and then go check your pocket.
Have it, and they can see it, and it's in there, so there's no sleight of hand. And then it's just, I'll do it one more time, and they're gonna go. So it's just like.
You could even call that your. Hey, I got this thing from China at CES 2022. It's a fucking teleportation machine. I know it sounds weird. Can't do the whole card, but we can do a piece. I love it, dude.
So.
That's really good.
I might pull my fucking WoW gimmick out.
That sounds like a euphemism.
And then put it back in. And pull it back
I don't know if you. I did a video over Christmas, like the hows and whys of the quiver, and I did like 12 routines with the quiver. I'm doing in a couple of weeks 12 routines with the
cool.
quiver. So yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
There's 2 torn and restored card ideas. One
Here, I'll
for
show you
Xbox, one
guys.
torn and restored card with the WoW.
Let me show you something coming out this year that I haven't shown it. Once this is off live, is this still online? Does it stay online?
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Well, fuck it. I don't know.
Yeah, baby. Let's hear it for Adam in the chat, giving us some completely exclusive content. Woo!
Did you guys ever see the Genesis system I did?
Yes.
Yep.
So thermochromatic ink, one of the things is a handprint with blood on it, right? So it's just your hand like this with a blood stain on it, okay? Hold on, I gotta find the actual gimmick.
We need some elevator music. Well, if anyone's interested in this thing.
So I'll tell you what, like just talking about this whole Angle Z thing, this is one of the things I had on Terrible, where you actually have them sign the full card. And so they sign the full card, and then you take the card, and then you tear the piece off. And then it disappears and goes anywhere. And all that is you're just tearing the card so that the white line is on the back, and you just sit it on a dupe.
Man.
And then, yeah. And if you do it with a court card, so it kind of goes around, you know, the image of the face, essentially.
Let me.
Yeah.
I genuinely have to go. I'm going to try and jump back. If not, I love you all.
All right.
Thanks, Craig. Oh, you're about to miss the exclusive, Craig.
He's probably shown it me. Adam, have I seen this already?
I think I've showed you everything, dude. Probably, yeah.
Hey, Adam, I'll message you tomorrow. We'll catch up.
Perfect. Let me know what you need, and I'll get it right over to you for sure.
No problem, man.
All right, buddy.
Right, guys, love you all. I'll be back. See you later.
Bye, 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 bye.
All right, so check this out. I absolutely love double cross, and I fucking hate double cross because the idea is great. The routine is garbage. Here, let me draw an X, and almost every time they go, and it doesn't come off, and then they got to do it again. I get it, right? It's in a Sharpie. It's using the stamp principle. So now I come out with, let me see if I can switch my camera. Okay. Okay. So now you come out, and the story is.
I've lost him.
Oh, yeah, I've lost Wilber too.
One sec. There we go.
Gonna come on completely naked. Shazam. There you go.
Okay. So the idea is you come out and say, hey, have you ever heard about voodoo? You know, people get really scared about voodoo, but the reality is voodoo, or a voodooist, who is someone who practiced voodoo, is the original shaman. And if you know what a shaman is, it's a healer. right? It's a healer that used herbs and things of that nature to heal people. So people think voodoo is this dark black magic, but the reality is they were the first doctors. So if you had an ailment, you'd go to a voodooist, and back in the day, the spiritual belief was that that ailment can't just disappear. So you've got to put that ailment somewhere else, i.e. a voodoo doll, right? So you could take a representation of a person and take whatever's ailing them and put it into the doll. The dark black magic side of that is when people figured out you could reverse that. You could do something to the doll and fuck up the person, right? So this is weird. I learned this when I was in New Orleans, and I went into this little weird shop, had like pig's brains on jars and all sorts of weird shit. They had a box that said voodooist on it. Now I'm like, what in the hell is a voodoo? I'm in New Orleans. This thing says voodooist. I don't know if I even want to touch the thing. And the lady goes, no. There's just a few items inside. So hold on and let me show you what's inside. So now I'm going to pull this thing out, right? They can see inside the box, and there is a card with a hand on it, a little voodoo doll, and a striking match, okay? So this is what they see. They can see inside the box, and I'm coming up here. I hand them the worry doll, and then I hand them the card with the blood stain on the hand, right? And I take the match, okay? So everything is clean at this point. Now, this is the glue came undone, but essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to come here, steal what I need to as I'm just talking, and say, oh, no, I'm sorry, move your hands over. So the move your hands over is this being stolen, okay? This has a magnet inside of it. This is a blood stamp. So this goes on your finger here. I steal it out as I say, oh, no, move your hands over. And then as I come back, it magnetizes, when this is glued in, it magnetizes back in place.
Fuck.
Sorry. Oh, this is backwards. That's why this is fucking bad. Hold on.
Going live,
so
baby.
You have an ink stamp on one side, right? And then this magnetizes on the other side. So when I go and get my finger and I'm holding it from underneath, I just take it, stamp it, get my ink, I move their hand, boom. I come back and immediately ditch this again and show my hand empty. And that's all covered.
And it's all covered with the box and the routine in.
That's this, right? I'm just sitting here like this. My hand steals it. I move their hand aside, stamp them, steals it back on. And all they can see is what's in here. So now they've got a blood stain on their hand and a worry doll on the back of their hand, a little voodoo worry doll. I take the match, I strike it on here, and I talk about voodoo. When one thing disappears from one, it has to go to another. So they watch the blood stain disappear with the heat, right? They're holding it, it disappears. I take the blood stain back, I put it away, and close the routine. Now you build up, and I say, oh, the problem is that's not the worry doll. Open your hand. So when, the script isn't complete yet, but when they open their hand, they have the exact replication of that blood stain on their hand now. So it's double cross, but with a theme of this voodooist creepy thing where now they get to see the card appear and disappear. But then when I pull it back out, I tell a little story, which I haven't scripted yet, talking about healing whatever pain has happened, right? And then they can take the card with them. And anytime they feel like there's an obstacle they can't overcome, all they got to do is heat it up and watch that blood disappear. So there's a nice little soppy story. But it's this little thing.
Man,
so
that is so good. And the comments are going crazy.
Yeah.
All under here.
Someone says, that's amazing, bro. That's so strong. Genius. Adam, you rock. High fives. Absolutely lovely, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Man.
Nemet says, nice.
I had a real similar idea of having like a magnetic finger pad that you could stick onto your finger and then ink it. And it was just like, I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't make it practical.
That's such a smart loading system.
Ideas that I was like, there's something here, and then I couldn't make it work, and I chucked it in the drawer and never thought about it again. You have just nailed that.
Nailed it.
There's a few final things like that. We have to easily be able to switch out the ink cartridges so they don't wear out. There was an issue.
That delivery system though is so good to just magnetize, click, and squeeze.
Great. When this thing isn't fucked up and the glue hasn't come off, it really is this fast. You show everything empty, both hands very free and empty. Set your hands down. I'm going to show you what's in here. So they open their hands palm down as I show them. The minute they're looking at a worry doll and weird shit in here, I'm stamping, and they go, oh, no, a little further apart, and then it goes back in and the trick's done, right? Now I take the worry doll, that goes on the back of the stamped hand, I take the card, they hold the other, strike the match, and the whole thing's finished, right? It's already set back away.
One of the best things about that as well is there's none of that black tack sticky shit on you or anything.
It's
like,
so secure.
I mean, if you're a worker, you get that all over your fingers and everything. If you're in a hot environment, it's like, it's a nice.
And I just don't get, like, the idea of it is brilliant, but it feels like an X. The best I ever saw was Bobby Mata do it, and he ended his whole PK touch routine with it. That was cool because he had 2 spectators on stage.
Yeah. I was with you when we seen that in Toronto.
Exactly. That's
so
the
sick.
best I've ever seen of Double Cross. Everyone else I see, it gets a great reaction, but I think it's a lazy development because there's so much more that could be, pulled out of what's really happening. The idea of the lipstick ash on palm is so powerful, but the X doesn't mean anything. It's like,
so we got some comments.
What is an X?
Coming in, we got someone calling it Voodoo Cross, which is dope.
Well, it's called the Voodooist. So the whole trick will be called Voodooist. That's the artwork.
Way Kevin Luck says, take my money. Jordan says, nice premise. Rohan McCourt says, is this going to be at Blackpool?
It won't be ready for Blackpool. I have a much bigger, better surprise for Blackpool, but this will be out in 4 to 6 months. There's still... With China right now, it's
crazy. So Nevio says, Lloyd, will you be on the Murphys Discord soon? I'd like to see Craig, Adam, and Ben over there on the Murphys Discord. So I'll be on there. I'm not sure what date because I'm packed up for the next few weeks, but I will be on there. I'm guessing the guys might want to jump on too. Nigel Quinn says to you, Adam, very cool. Adam, I've messaged you some dates for the Magic Circle.
Awesome. Cool.
So Nigel Quinn hasn't messaged us to ask about dates for the Magic Circle. Just Adam. Just putting that out there.
I've already lectured.
We just talked about it today. Is why he's saying we were just messaging today.
Rich says, does the small part come out of the bottom of the larger box and then go into the box when it's sat on the table? Hope that makes sense. He says.
Yeah. So this part is normally glued into the box. It's just the glue has faltered. So I'll show you what it actually looks like. This is a white prototype. It'll be skin colored like this. So what's really happening is this has a magnet right here. On the base of the opposite of where the ink is also a magnet, okay? So that sits in here. That rests in there all the time. So when I come over, all I have to do is come over with my finger, lock that in, push against the wall, and it stamps the ink. I then ink them, immediately come back, and that magnet steals it. So now I'm clean again.
So good.
So
fantastic.
This ink stamper is replaceable. So when you run out of ink, you can refill that, replace it. The final piece of this puzzle is obviously people's finger sizes are different. So we're just trying to get this to where it's pliable. So whatever size finger you have, we can have this hug your finger. But it should be this fast, right? What they should see is empty hands. Put your hands out. Oh no, I'm sorry, a little further apart. Okay, oh shit, sorry, I'm watching the camera. So boom, stamp, little further apart. No, I'm sorry, this hand, and you're done. So it's locked, loaded, and it's hidden back in here. And then from here, you can be really free. But when you're doing the stamping, this comes down and covers your finger.
That's smart as well. I would never have thought of that.
It has to, right? Because if it stays here, they see at the wrong angle, they see too much. So this flops down. Has a little design on here that's a little voodoo thing that's creepy. So even if they want to look, there's so much information in here for them to see, and in here, you could do anything you want under here.
Yeah.
Wow. So we got some more. Yeah, first of all, incredible. Wow. Let's hear that for Adam in the chat.
Thanks, guys.
Molly Mayhem says Crossroads. Matty Mayhem says Crossroads Demon. Chris James says Adam is gonna destroy 2022. I already know that. Rich says genius. Alex Bow says really good. The only thing is, can the box be smaller so you can pocket it for carrying around?
It's not going to be as strolling. I've worked on that, the functionality, so it fits everybody's finger and gets the right ink stamp. It's got to be a performance piece. It's not going to be a strolling piece. Now,
strong decision.
I'm not going to bullshit you. I've performed it to a few friends and family, but I haven't worked it. So the way I think I would work it is, I bring a bag. I would have it in the bag as one of those pieces where it's like, oh, you want to see one more? Give me a second. I put everything else away and I come out with the box. So it probably could be shrunk down, but the speed of loading and disengaging, I'd have to use the black tack technique.
But then everything inside the box would need to be smaller, and it's like, you're going to pull out a little photo of a hand like that big or something. Like, I think.
Or it could be away from the box. I thought about having it would hang off the back pocket. So when you went to stamp it, you would just come here, stamp, and do it. But then, I like self-contained. I like everything.
Have I told you my horror story about double cross?
No.
Oh, fuck. This is back when I used to drink. I went to my wife's family live up in Scotland. And I like doing, so basically her grandfather died and it was his funeral. So it was the first time or second time I was really meeting a lot of them because it was a while back. And after a few beers, everyone was like, let's lighten the mood. It's been the funeral. It's now the wake. Let's do some magic.
Get Lloyd.
Let's get Lloyd in. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, this is my time. And I had a double cross in my pocket. I didn't know I had it in there. So I was like, and I'd had a few beers. So I was like, to the most like alpha there. Because I thought you pin the alpha first. And then, you know what I mean? I was like, hold your hands out. And then I like went to do the load, dropped the thing. Didn't get the stamp.
The stamp,
The
right?
stamp, right? Dropped the stamp on the floor. All his family. It's like 12 people in a wake reception room. It was like it's a small like a little community, like not a bar, but it's like a little like sports community where they have like a little beer bar. In the UK, you have things like really quiet, really focused. Everyone was sad. I fucking dropped double cross. It went so bad, and at the end of it, I was like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, it's just like, I'll try something else. I'll get a deck of cards." And I was stumbling, I was drunk, and then in front of everyone, he just bent down, picked up the stamp, and was like, "You dropped your little toy."
So, right.
It's the worst performing memory I've ever had. I hate it.
You feel that big.
Oh, I cringe now thinking about it.
Right. So I was at a wedding, and this bride and groom, they weren't thinking of booking a magician. They saw me, I pitched and everything. They were like, "Man, we got to have you." So they had me along. In the drinks reception, the groom comes along, and I blow him away. I'm like doing all my A-grade material, and then right at the end of it, he pulls his dad in, and he goes, "This is my dad, like, do your stuff." And I'm like, I've got to go reset. So I'm like, I don't know, like, what can I do? So I do like I go, "Have you got some money?" And I change his £20 into a 50 and then turn it back. And it wasn't the best bill switch I'd ever done. So I thought, right, okay, I'll nail him with double cross. So then I get the old double cross out, and I just say, "Hold your hand out." And I when I stand up, I go, "Hold your hand out," and they put it low, and I go, "No, just a bit higher." So I don't get the whole two hands.
When they go low, you go high.
Yeah, and I just literally hold my hand low so they copy me, and I go, "No, a bit higher." And as I did this, as I go to say just a bit higher, somebody passes their drink across. This wine glass spills wine everywhere. I just hold his hand for a second. Don't say the just a bit higher, because everything's all a bit like that. And I'm like, ugh. And then I carry on and do the trick, and everyone goes a bit crazy. He's still a bit, So I'm like, right, this is just after Cypher came out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to nail him with Cypher. So then I go, right, I give the groom the lottery ticket. Like, the groom was like thinking that double cross was good, but I knew this dad wasn't. He was like big, burly guy, and he just wasn't impressed. And so I then go, right, I'll tell you what, and I go to do Cypher, and I don't know what the hell happened, but the number didn't come up. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I go, so we've got this, and I'm like, what do I do? So I just, as I bruise my hand across, I hit the C, and I'm like, oh, mate, I've just ruined it. And I'm like, can you do it again? So he goes and does it all again, but I had Cypher coded to like the double equals. So he goes boom, 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 equals, and it doesn't reach the total again. So I grab the phone, realise it, hit the equals, the number changes, and I show him, and then it matches the thing. And I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm cringing listening to that. Like, I've got...
Do you want to hear how it got even worse?
I do.
That's possible.
Yeah. I didn't think it could be.
Yeah, this is my worst ever magic fail. Ever, like, hands down. So then, like, they all go through to the meal, and the dad comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, are you going to come to the top table?" Because I didn't get to see the bride. She was off taking photos and all this. And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm going to come to the top table." And he's like, "Good, because I want to be impressed." He was like, "The first one, all right, so you know, that was a little sort of thing." I heard him actually talking about thumb tips to somebody, so he must have had some knowledge. And then he went, "The second one, if you're really going to touch me and do something, you should maybe anchor me and grab me somewhere else as well so I don't feel the touch." And he went, "The third one, that was just an app." And I was like,
All right, sit down, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I go to the top table. And I'm like, right. And I've just got the first trick that I do. I like write a message. I have them sign a card, write a message on flash paper, whoomph, and the message appears on the back of their signed card. And they all look at the dad and they go, "So how did he do that?" And the dad goes, "Oh, I don't know." And they're all like, "Ah." So he's obviously been telling them all. So then I'm like, right, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do this. And I get him to do a cross-cut for us. And I go, "Here, just cut the cards and have a look at the card that you cut to, all right?" And I go, "I've got a little prediction in my top pocket. If this prediction doesn't match your card, I'll buy you a drink, okay?" And I said, "What was the card you cut to?" And he goes, "9 of spades." And I'm like, "Oh, shake it, instant tea, turns into the tea bag." I'm like, "Oh, you a drink? How about a cup of tea then?" They all go mental. There's people standing all around this top table, a photographer, a videographer. They're all like, "Whoa." And I give it all the
Oh
big
my
and
God,
Johnny
this,
big
oh
uns. And I go,
no.
"No, here, touch it, feel it." And he's like, "Oh." I'm like, "It's not what should be inside there, should it?" And I'm walking off all swag like this. And he rips it open, pulls it out. It's a 6 of clubs. It was the wrong four spot. She's like, "No!" All on camera, all being filmed. I was just like, "Mate, I need to go home."
That
I
is
very quickly
just
went from wizard status down
gross.
to just being a guy that does
Absolutely
Joker.
gross.
I felt
I
like
got-
I wanted to refund them. I was just like, "Oh man." And the bride was sat there with her jaw open going, "What? Huh? So what's going to happen?" I couldn't do anything because he had the cards.
No.
I was just like,
Fuck.
"Oh mate, I learned such a lesson off of that."
Dude, in the States here, we have what's called,
Guns.
what are they called? They're called
School
Chamber of
shootings.
Commerce.
Sorry.
Chamber of Commerce, right? So every big city or every city has their Chamber of Commerce, which is all the business people who get together and meet. So I had the local chamber. It's a great place to get gigs because if you go donate a show to the Chamber of Commerce, it's all the people that own the businesses in that area, right? It's a brilliant place to go get gigs. And I had a huge Chamber of Commerce in one of the biggest cities here, which would be a home run because, oops, sorry. Shit, I got to go in 2 minutes. Because I wouldn't have to drive to go perform. So I get to do the show and I'm closing the show. I charged a lot too. It was like a $3,500 show, right? So 35 minutes, something like that. I was like, all right, I got to kill this. And I'm ending the show with a chair test. And it's a simple chair test. There are colored chairs on stage. There are envelopes. And all I have to do is remember the order. Like, it's literally that simple.
I remember you working on this chair test ages back.
Dude, 12 minutes of a 35-minute show. I'm building this up, right? And I'm like, I'm going to destroy with this, dude. I build. I filmed it, too. I have this on video. It's horrible. Horrible. But I do the whole thing. I amp it up, and now I've got a woman with a yellow, and she's at the yellow chair, and what's supposed to be in the envelope is yellow, right? She opens it up, boom, yellow. People are going, "Oh, that was pretty fucking, how the hell?" "Ma'am, you're at the blue chair, open your envelope. Green." "Ma'am, you're at the green chair, open your envelope. Red." And none of the other ones hit. So now for 12 minutes, I've built it up, and they're all going,
"Oh, fuck me."
And I look directly at the woman who booked me, and she looks at her like boss and just goes, "Sorry."
Oh!
I see her say that. So I'm on stage to everyone I want to be working for, closing the effect, and she looks over at the main guy and goes, "Sorry, like I hired him, sorry."
Oh.
Dude, so the only out I had, which was somewhat of a save, is at every show I handed Invisible Deck to someone. Really, because if someone's phone rings, it's perfect, because then I get the person whose phone on stage and I do Invisible Deck that way, right?
That's good.
But in this case, the phone didn't ring. So I built it all up.
And that's after the show, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody called. Phone never rang again.
So I bullshit something saying like, so you're probably wondering what was that all about? Why was all that? Well, that was misdirection. See, hold on. Name a color. Name a suit. High or low. And I made those 4 people decide on a card. And I tried to articulate, I was trying to get your mind off playing cards for that last 12 minutes of the show. And then I make them do it. I do the invisible deck. And then you see the whole audience go,
Oh, fucking hell, man.
I've never packed up a show and left faster in my life.
Oh, my.
If you're not a worker, you haven't, mate. If you don't have a story like that, you're not a worker.
Yeah.
If you haven't experienced it once, then it's gonna happen.
So let me read what Nemed, who's one of Craig's friends, said.
Hey guys, I gotta jump off.
Let me tell you what Nemed said real quick though. He just said, until you've asked a man with one arm in a wheelchair to stand up and hold his hands out, you're good.
Real quick. I was at the bar back when I was still drinking. Dude, I think you were there, Lloyd. I think this was an E-trip early on.
Right.
We're at a bar, and I'm hammered, dude. And I'm like full performing mode, and there's a girl and a dude, and I'm going, hey, dude, look, watch. And he's kind of going like this, and the girl's looking at me, and I'm like, come on, man, look, watch. And she hits me and goes, he would if he wasn't blind.
Yes. Oh my god, I remember. Yeah.
I'll see my fucking self.
Yeah. You came over all like excited and shy. You were like, I can't believe what you did.
All right, guys, I gotta bounce.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. Let's hear it for Adam in the chat, everyone. That was so good, dude. Oh god, these war stories. Well, those are torn and restored career stories. Let me go through some of these comments real quick. Then we got
Yeah. I was going to say.
Nigel Quinn said he's going to message me and you, Ben. So thanks, Nigel. After watching Adam's stuff, we need to get our pants changed. We're not worthy. Some cracking comments here. Adam's gone now, so if you hear this one before from Ben, I love the war stories. What do you do with the uncle that knows magic and he's spoiling your tricks? That's a good one for you.
You take him off and you say, look, you don't go like stop being a dick, but you go, if I ever get that, I give him a nudge and I give him a wink and I go, we'll have a bit of a chat in a minute, and then I instantly finish the performance. I go off with them and I show him a couple of tricks and I show him how they work so that he can show me something, and you make a friend out of him. And then he shuts up and doesn't say anything again. So
yeah, I do exactly the same thing.
That's what I do. You know, if it was my uncle, if it not someone else's, I'd just slap him. But,
yeah.
I mean, you're at a wedding or something like that. If it's someone else's like uncle, you know, like you just got to make a friend out of them.
Yeah, I do exactly the same thing. Show them how something works. I always show them Cypher how it works because they just fucking like that's like James Bond to them. So I don't care. I'm not precious about that because I can do it on their phone. Then the classic.
It doesn't work.
Huh? Yeah. But I show them how it works. But then later on, I can do it on a borrowed phone by just doing the normal Toxic Force, you know. So it doesn't make a difference if they know it. But what I sometimes do is hand them a dupe card and say, like now I've showed you something. I say, do you want to like if I make that card vanish later, can I have it like appear in your pocket? And they're like, oh, they get really excited. So then when I'm performing, I'll be like, okay, here we go. Let's change it. Gone. I think it's going to appear in your pocket. And then they love the fact that they're in then, you know?
Yeah. Have you seen Etienne's Instant Stooge?
No.
So he does the same thing. And say they've got a card and it's signed. He palms it off. And then he's doing this, and he just does this. He holds it out behind himself and waves it at the guy, so he stands in front of the guy. And the guy, 9 times out of 10, takes it, hides it in their pocket or somewhere else like that, and like you instantly just get them in on it. They just see it straight away, and they go, right, I know what you want.
Yeah, because there's no point trying to fool those people, because the more you try to fool them, the more angry or pissed off they get. And if they do get fooled, like,
fool you look.
Yeah. But the moment you flip it on its head and you're like, okay, listen, you're so smart, you've got to be in on it. They're like, oh, I've broken through the ranks, and now they're your best friend, like 100%. Before we went on the tangent, I was going to show you. You showed me that angle zero handling. So have you seen how I do it signed with the signed piece?
Oh, you mentioned this. I just want to give a shout out to everyone. A shout out to Nick as well. Nick's my boy. I coach Nick a lot, and he's popped up a couple of comments. So I just want to say hey.
Yo, what's up, Nick? Thank you for tuning in, buddy.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly show everyone what this
remember you
is.
saying something about this because it's something to do with the ink carries across.
Yeah. So the card is riffle forced. So we got like 7 of spades, and you place it on top of the deck. Get a pen, and you have somebody sign their name. So I'll give me a word for them to sign. So I'll sign across the line.
Oh, like banana. I don't know.
There's something really funny about that. Loads of people say banana as a random word. Yeah. And I wonder if you could use it. Anyway, banana. My handwriting's terrible, but banana. And that's my face. Okay. Well,
I have banana written down inside a folded card as part of my inner thing, just in case they say banana.
Do you?
Yeah.
So from here, like, you just go into angle 0, boom, and it's gone. And then the piece, wherever it reveals, matches up exactly. And all I do beforehand is that I take a card. If I have any spare, I don't want to like rip up an old one. But you take. Oh my god, there's no picture cards. That's better. You just take a card and you draw a line on it from the corner that you tear on, like that.
Yes.
So now you pre-tear the corner and load it wherever you want. This goes in the deck. So the line is never too far up the card. So you riffle force it normally, show the edge, show the 2, pull it out and hide the corner, and turn it towards yourself. Now you say, I want you to just sign your name along here. I pretend to draw a line, but what I do here is, the interesting thing is that when I say sign your name along here, I point it straight to the person going to sign their name, right? I don't let anyone else see the line, even though they've seen me draw it, or they don't really remember or notice it, like they don't pay any attention to it. So I say sign your name along there, they do that, and then you go into it. But what everyone believes is that the person, because they don't really pay much attention, I just say sign your name here, boom. They think the person signed their name and drew a line under it.
It's nice.
So now later on when you show the pieces, it matches exactly with their signature line. So to everyone else, and the person sort of doesn't really clock it either. Everyone thinks that signed card has been torn in half or torn across the signature, and it matches. It's impossible to. It's impossible to work out.
Tell you what, you can't do it signed. That's such a good idea. You can't do it signed, but if I quite often have a duplicate ready, because so many people ask you to put the card back together after angle Z, and so what I do in that case is, say you've got like the piece torn off. I know these aren't going to be duplicates, but I have a duplicate one that's folded into quarters, and I just do that. So I've got that, I steal that out, and then I go, hang on a second, and I just fold this up, and I fold that up, and then I take the piece and I put the piece in the middle, and then I just do a false transfer and give that to them to hold on to. And then I have the lighter, I have ditch that off as I get the lighter, and then they open up their hand and the card's restored in their hand. It's just a nice, because so many people, like, mostly joking, but they say, can you put it back together? If you work it, it happens a lot.
I wonder how I would do that then. So I've done the effect, huzzah, boom. This would end up somewhere that they'd probably end up holding it. Who ends up holding it in your case? Like, do they end up having both pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because they're going to be trying to check.
Yeah, they're checking the all matches. I think there's so much scope with torn and restored. I think, we've gone off on so many tangents. Like, there's so much scope for doing it. I think it's back to that. Do you want it as a performance piece, or do you just want it as a moment of magic, or do you want it to be motivated? Like I remember Dave Forrest had that box tear where he takes the cards out of the box, and as he's opening the flap up, he rips the box, and it's like, oh damn, and then he heals the box back up, and so it's like a moment of like, and you're just using magic to fix it. So I think there's scope for torn and restored in all manner of things, and I suppose it just depends on how much of a performance you want it to be, as to what method is best suited.
Yeah, that's what like sort of where I thought this whole discussion was going to go to was breaking down TNRs more like, you know, are we going to do them with reasoning? Are you going to do them as like Danny DeOrtiz does one where he just takes man, I hate tearing cards up ironically, but he like DeOrtiz one he takes a card like this. And he throws it over his shoulder and then he goes like, haha, just kidding, and pulls it like, that's his one, right? And it's just super quick. Like, do you want to do it like that? Do you want to make it performance? Like you said, do you want to make it into something where it accidentally? I wonder if like you drop the card and as you pick it up, you stamp on it to stop it blowing away. You've got to pick it up and it tears, and now you're like, oh damn, there's a tear in my card, you know? And then what you can do from that position? Like, is there something you can go from that, like the idea of, I'm not sure where, but you know what I mean? Like if the reasoning works and then you're in a unique position of picking a card up that's torn from the floor, what can you do with it? Can you do like that under the leg thing and swap it for different cards? You know, when you pick up a coin and you come down and you throw it through, I don't know. But I like the idea of presenting it differently because it takes you to different places that you could exploit points along that path of the like aesthetic.
Yeah. Do you know what? I had a couple of other ones to show as well, which we never even got round to. Like,
I know.
So this is an idea that I came up with. I've got two versions of it, but this one is just a little handling that I came up with not quite recently. Actually, it's only been a few days I've been playing around with it, so I might screw it up. But here, the whole idea is that it's just simple. It's just a simple torn and restored card. So all you do is you tear the card, essentially. Now, the idea being is that you would get a lighter you would give this to the spectators and say, how would you put that back together? Like sellotape, glue, something like that. And really what you need is a light. And the whole idea is that you take the light and you're using the heat from the lighter to heat the edges back up. So now you can take it, and if you get it just about right, you can heal it back together.
Oh, that's great.
And there's a couple of different restorations you could do. So you could actually do it like this.
Wow.
Where you come up, you got the two pieces, and I was toying around with doing this. So you kind of come down, and then you steal it off like that. So
that was weird to fit. I can't fully figure that out.
Even like. Pop, you pop it back like that, like a visual pop. But yeah, this is so simple. You just have. Let me get another couple of dupes. So here, you have one that's folded, and you got a little lip on it. Okay, yeah. So a tiny little lip. That's going to be in your pocket, or you could put it in the pit stop, like Gregory Wilson. Okay, it's 6 of hearts, is it? Yeah. And then you would take this, you fold it in exactly the same way. So you have a tiny lip and you got nothing else in your hands, obviously. You just do this and you tear it. So now you got that. And what you're doing is you have this. As you say to them, like, how would you put that back together? You just sit there and do this and you steal that restored card back out. Now, what you're doing is as you pop that across, you're actually doing like a little snap change. Yeah. So you're stealing that piece off, and stealing it away, and switching in the restored card. So now all you have to do is just peel that off. Because of that lip, you can just pop it.
Nice.
You place them there, and then just come across and steal it off as you do a restore.
Beautiful, simple restoration.
Yeah,
that's practical at the same time.
I think because when people think of torn and restored cards as well, it's either this like you say, a corner or some sort of flash restoration or something, or the piece by piece, and it's got to be in 4 pieces. And I'm like, do you know what? Why you just if you're going to tear a card, you would just tear a card and then just put it back together.
Yeah.
Why do you need to tear a card twice? You know, is where I was thinking.
Have you seen Dwayne Williams' trick called Revive?
Yes.
Incredible torn restored card. Absolutely. And it's such a worker. So that came from, it was me, him, and we were traveling in the car from the session convention, and I'd been obsessed with everyone I'd been bumping into that was a layman. I was saying, can you do me a favor, just tear this card up? And I was giving people, like anyone that would fucking listen to me, especially in the pub, no trick, just ask them to tear the card up, and every single one of them, bar like one or two, would just tear it in half. And I said the goal is to create a TNR which they understand, which is it's as soon as you start tearing into quarters, it becomes a trick to me. It becomes, like magicians when they go into magic mode, so they're going to perform a trick. They're like, right then, hello, ladies and gentlemen. And you're like, well, right, something's up because he's doing something really odd now. Right, he's acting different, so he's gonna, But so the more you can fluidly go into and out of performance without them even knowing you're in. Like a master of that is like Bro Gilbert. He's so good at just casually, just you don't even know the trick started and he's halfway through setup.
And Nyman's like that as well.
Yeah. Yes. He is exactly. So the idea of not at any point alluding to the fact there's going to be a trick. So I like the idea of just tearing a card. It could be that the trick goes wrong. You just tear it in half, right? Tear the card in half, but it's just everything to them. Even though you're tearing a card, that's how it would normally be done. So up to that point, the trick hasn't started yet. And like with yours, then you could already be ready with a dupe torn in half, good to go.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
So you could also do it. Yeah, totally. You could also do it signed. So that first one's like more impromptu. You just need a dupe. But you can also do it signed. So if you do it like this, and then you would tear it in half. And again, the sort of pattern I was playing around with is like if you had a lay person come try and put them back together, how would they put it back together? And the real secret is that you need heat. Okay, and then you come up, and then you can do your kind of restoration again, however you want to do it, and then it's signed.
Yeah.
And that one is I've got this set up here. So you just have two cards. It doesn't even need to be a dupe, but you have repositional glue on the top.
What repositional glue do you use, by the way?
I've got that Elmer's craft glue.
Nice.
Or craft bond.
I've got
yeah, that
does this work like budget Pritt stick?
Hey.
I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know if it will work or not.
But yeah, so with this, what you're doing is you're folding it in half. So if I turn around, you see it like this, and then you're just popping that open. So it's a bit like Brent Braun's. That's what it was inspired by. And so you're actually just tearing that off. You tear that down, so you got the two pieces in half. And then what you're doing is you're feeding this one in between. To
unstick them as well, sort of.
Yeah, so that unsticks them. From the front, you've got two. There's a slight visual discrepancy because as you place it into the other hand, you're actually pulling it up and the piece jumps from the back to the front.
Yeah, but it's not going to be noticed.
But you don't notice that at all. So you just pop it in the hand and now you've stolen that piece off. You've got your signed card folded and the other half you can do.
I wonder if Ben.
I was trying to do it like this. You got to be a little bit careful with the angles. Obviously, you don't want to flash it or anything. But I was trying to work it so that you get this like a restoration that happens in full view, which is why I was playing around with this kind of holding it like that and then turning it around and then you kind of steal the piece off.
Ben, I wonder if when you're doing that discrepant moment and you've got two pieces, right, and the gimmick,
yeah,
because you're doing two steals, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
But I wonder if so I've got a folded card here in two pieces. If the folded card was bent like this, so that when you steal, you're only doing one steal ever, but it looks like you've got two separate pieces because they're angled off a little bit. So you're showing them like that, so it looks like two torn pieces held together, but this is just smudged over. And then, so it gets rid of one of the steals just to make it a bit more streamlined. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think because the motivation I had in my head was you steal the first piece off as you get the lighter out, you do the heat, you put the lighter in your mouth, do the restore, and then you grab the lighter, put that away as you hand the card out. That was what I was thinking. But yeah, if you could work a way to have it so that when you fold the card, you can get that fold in there.
I used to have this really weird fold where you could fold it in a way that it looked like
I love jamming ideas.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. I used to do this fold where the trick would be that you tear a corner off and then staple it onto the card. And there was a certain fold you could put in that made it look like this. When the card was stapled on, like the extra corner piece was actually quite like separated. I can't remember. This is bloody years ago, but it was kind of like you fold it. Oh, let me see if I can show this. So it goes in there and there, that sort of thing. So it really looked like the piece wasn't on the card, and you'd cover like one bit, so that looks like a torn off piece, and there'd be staples in it, and then it would all restore. But it had like a really deceptive part. I can't remember what it is, but it makes me think a lot.
That's interesting.
Actually,
that's interesting.
So let's read some of these comments. We got Benji M says, "Where are practical and easy places to put the corner in angle Z?" I love Nate Stanforth's handling.
Yes, Nate. Oh, Nate's such a great thinker. I love Nate.
I think I'm seeing him in like 2 weeks' time. I've never met him before, but I think apparently I might be meeting up with him randomly.
Oh man, I filmed for his YouTube. I filmed an interview with him just after. I can't remember when it was. It was ages ago, just before COVID. And yeah, because he got in touch with me because he loved OCL. And
oh yeah.
I was like, mate, what? You're saying that you love my shit? Like.
Yeah, exactly. But what Nate does is he takes, before the performance begins, he takes the piece, but he doesn't show anyone. He says, hold your hand out, put this in your hand, squeeze your hands, we'll come back to it later. So no one knows anything. They don't even know what it is they got in their hand.
Yeah. He even says, do you know what's in your hand? And they're like, no. Like, could you have a guess? And they're like, I have no idea. Like,
yeah, because he hasn't like introduced playing cards or anything yet. Then he does angle zero, or angle Z, vanishes it, and then he says, you've been holding something since before we began. And then, like, super magical, super duper good. So that's like and that's practical because I came up with an idea years ago, and it was just a theory in a set of notes that I put up, which was to load it so they think their hand's empty. You'd stick it to your palm, and then as you cover their hand to cover, it would be loaded in invisibly.
No, I've done this. But
then Justin Miller actually started doing it because I didn't have the bollocks to perform it.
I've done this loads. You have it, and so you say here, put your hands like this, and so they put their hands like this, and you literally come over and you just squeeze that into their palm, and then as you squeeze it into their palm, you push their hands together, and they just have it. So you're like here, put your hands together like this and squeeze tight, don't let go.
Yeah, and they don't know it's there.
Hold on to the piece. They don't even know it's in their hand.
No.
I've done that loads.
Well, I wrote about it like 15 years ago, but never had the balls to do it. And then I seen Justin doing it and a bunch of it. But Benji's asking practical places. I suppose that's not the most practical. The
under their watch. If you want to
practical,
load
like
their watch, super easy.
Under their drink.
Easy for the coin. Other quiver. I use quiver a lot.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
So you put it in the quiver wallet, they can't feel it. So when you've done the switch, I love this. I absolutely love this, and with the right people, you can have a right laugh. I just stick your finger in there,
and then you get the quiver wallet out.
Yeah, and like you either get them go yeah, and you're like whoa, like I'm glad it was only one kind of thing, or they're a bit hesitant, and you're like. And it's just funny. And then they have a little feel around. I go, I could have just said, look, but like it's much more fun to have you stick your finger in. And then I say, hold on to the top. And then I do angle Z. And then they know it's going to be in there. And so I actually give them the card and I take it back and I just pop it open for them straight in front of them. And then they're just like jaws drop.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's super practical, super impressive. I mean, practical really is just loading it, like putting it somewhere, wherever you are, like putting it somewhere like under a drink. I think anything is really impressive as long as you sell the effect, right?
I'll give you my favourite. My absolute favourite. I don't think I've had a reaction this good from Angle Z ever, or for many, many tricks. And so what I do is, and it's not practical because you have to set it up, but it is so good. So the idea is that you say to them, you do Angle Z, and you go, look, if I could get it to appear inside that beer bottle, Would that be cool? And they're like, yes. And you go over and you say, here, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. You go grab that bottle, have a look. And they have a look inside and they're like, oh, it's not in there. You go, that would have been good though. And then you say, no. Do you know what? I was actually joking. And when I said inside the bottle, I didn't mean actually inside the bottle. And you go, look at the label. And then they look at the label and you can see the pieces underneath the label. And then you rip the label off and the piece is literally legit under the label. And so what I do is you like Budweiser's great because like loads of places sell Budweiser, especially at weddings and stuff like that. So I can go along with one. I only ever do it like once a gig. It's one of those ones which I don't want to do it twice because then it's not a moment of magic. It's a
not
trick
spontaneous or organic. It's just a route.
Yeah, you want it to feel spontaneous. And so I just load the bottle on the table. And I'll just leave it on the table and I'll go over to a group and I'll perform it and then I'll point over to that table. And the way that I do it is you open up the lid of your kettle and put your kettle on boil and the steam just comes up and it soaks the label. The label changes colour, but it makes the glue all melt. And then you can peel the label off, when you get the corner, you get the corner piece and bend it a little bit so that it fits the shape, the contour of the bottle. So you bend it a little bit, stick it there, and if you get it quick enough, the glue's still wet so that you can dry it down, and that glue just sticks down over it.
So you don't need to add more glue?
No. But if you do, just stick Pritt Stick on it. It's absolutely fine.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh man, and it's so good because especially I love the Bud because like you can see behind the white as well. So like it's that moment where they actually see it behind the label. I wish I had one set up, but I've used them.
I can imagine. Yeah, the indentation on it, like the debossing on it.
Yeah, no, I've used it. So yeah. It's and it's just that moment where they see it there, and that's like what, and then you rip it, and especially if you have, it takes a while to rip the paper off.
Yeah.
People just freak out, and I start it as soon as you see a bit corner, I put it to them and go, you finish it, and then they pick it out, and then they match it up, and it's like, oh, that would be so killer with your signed version as well.
Oh God, if you could do, that would be, because that's impossible then. I mean, one way that I've done it for so long, well, apart from the fact that I don't go to bars now, is that I would, as soon as someone goes to the toilet, I would take their beer, and I would take the beer mat and tear the corner off on it, and I'd hold the corner and put their pint back down, covering that corner piece. Ooh. And as soon as they come back from the toilet, I would just, as they're sitting down, I would just throw the Angle Zero piece under their butt. So they'd sit down. Now they're set up under their. So we would be chatting before they take their drink, or hopefully I could distract them with something like longer. I say, "Oh, you haven't seen this video of you," and I try and show just to like space it out, right?
Yes.
Then I would say, watch this. I lift the beer mat up and cover the corner. Then do Angle Zero. Boom, it's gone. And then I say, you haven't stood up since I touched your beer mat. No, and then they look at it and it's just super organic and it's not using playing cards.
Oh, I had this as well, right? So you could also like if you're ever at a place and they've got their coat hanging off their chair, just drop it in their pocket. Just pocket. I did this at a gig. I was at a wedding and it was like this nana. She had a coat over the back of a chair, and like we're outside, and I loaded it. I can't remember how I loaded. Oh, how did I load it? I think it was her inside pocket, and I just shoved it in there. I was like, I'm just going to try this. I shoved it in there, and then they got called away for a photo.
Fantastic! Yes.
Like, oh, man. And then when they came back, because I made this big thing, right, Nana, it's your turn. Come on, I'm going to get you. And then they got called away. I was like, all right. When they came back, she was wearing the coat. And then I did Angle Z, and I went, and it's gone. And I went, it's now inside your jacket pocket, your inside jacket pocket. And she turned around and she said the best thing. She was like, my coat doesn't have an inside pocket. And I was like, it does now. And she went, what? And she freaked out the fact that there was a pocket in her coat now. And she reached in, grabbed the corner piece out, and everyone just fell to bits, mate.
Wow. Alzheimer's can be such a wonderful disease at times.
Oh man!
All right. Okay, dude, we could talk on this for days, let alone hours.
I know. This is the thing. I mean, we spoke for like 2 hours earlier.
I know. I have to get off any minute because my kid's bedtime. But let me just run through some comments.
Everything, yeah. Like, hey, dad power.
Yes, Dad, for sure, man. So, where am I at? So, someone said I like the Madison gaff where it's healed on the back of the card. Yes, the angles, it's incredible. It's so perfect in every way. Or Sankey one that restores credit card, restore corner on back. Thanks for the ideas, guys. So Benji says thanks for the ideas.
Yes.
Punk
No,
BMX.
Matt, thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone for all your comments and everything. It's it makes it really cool when you're not just having a chat on your own, doesn't it?
yeah. I like this. I want to do it every week now. So Fat Matt, which is Matthew Wright says.
No cards have been harmed in this live show.
Oh, they have been obliterated. Matt, I think it's Matt Wright, Fat Matt on here says, "Gutted I've missed this. I'm filming a new TNR this week." Is it the TNR? And I also need to get back to you, Matt. It's been the weekend, so Matt Wright showed me a TNR a while ago, which is super duper visual. Like slow motion visual. I hope it's that. Let us know.
He's got some great stuff. He's got
so.
Do you know? I absolutely love. He had a routine on his first Alakazam release where he was like, "Oh, I'm really tired," and it was like the repeat force of a card, but he was saying it was like a nightmare, a reoccurring nightmare.
Yeah,
it was such a great presentation. I've been a massive fan of him ever since then. Like. Yeah, so
he's always the first dealer booth that I go to in Blackpool. Is Matt.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this TNR, definitely.
Yeah, me too. So we got David Team Roth says Brent Braun does a TNR with a liar. Yes, we sort of discussed that earlier, dude. You can. Matt Mayhem says
Nicholas you can. Lawrence's TNR with a bill, where you just
and that visual is so fooling. Like there's like a retention of vision there that doesn't make sense, and it's so smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just. There's a lot of questions, but I think we're gonna have to revisit this, Ben, me and you again. I think we're gonna have to do a TNR sessions part 2 for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm down.
You down?
That.
Okay,
Definitely.
We'll pencil it in, guys. I think we're gonna have to do it because we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, mate. What we should do is we should get people like to offer up what they want to hear about. Like, is there any plots? I'd tell you what, I'd love to do a whole chat on the impossible location.
Okay, yeah, impossible location.
That's one of my favourite plots. I mean, I can totally talk about impossible locations for days.
As in with playing cards or like bills or
anything.
Okay.
You know, I got that anywhere principle, which is an idea for like if you burnt a loyalty card and then had it reappear somewhere. But we could go into that.
Yes. Okay. All right. So the next one then is either TNR Part 2 or. We can leave that. No, I like the impossible location one because it's one of my favorite plots that I don't look into enough or talk about or jam enough. So you know what I mean. So let's talk about some last comments before I head out. Nigel Quinn says great special. Hope you plan on making it a regular feature. So there's your answer, Nigel. I thought no cards being harmed. Really like that. Thanks. I think it's the most important thing about Angle Zero is being spontaneous, acting like you're making it up. Yeah. Yes. Ben is a great. Joey Minor says Ben is a great guest. Need him on more lives. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, I've had a blast, man. I've had a blast, and it's really fired like my creativity back up. When you said, "Oh yeah, you know, we need to do, you know, a TNR," I was just like, "Oh yes," and it just started me thinking.
Yeah.
So,
well,
do you ever get it where like you get like your polo mints and like they're broken and then you can restore them? That's for part 2.
What the fuck?
I'll just leave that there.
Okay, that is a good note to end on. Ashish says thanks, Ben and Lloyd. Nigel says great to invite more creators on the call this week with Adam, Matt Wright for the next one. Will be awesome. Yes, it will be.
Comments.
Serious.
Punk BMX gets the prize for most comments. And,
the last Punk BMX comment says I put my daughter to bed with one eye on her and one eye on you guys, with her asking what is it that was making all that noise about. I don't know if you've heard my kid screaming in the background, but he's currently in the bath with his bath whistle. So.
If you hear any screaming in my background, it'll probably be my wife going, "Come on!" Like,
Yeah. It's Sunday, it's family day, and you're talking fucking magic again. Oh, well, everyone, thank you so much. Ben, thank you so much for taking part.
Nice. And getting Adam on as well. Sweet. That's some. He's a
Thanks, Craig, who's not here to hear it. Neither is Adam, but yeah, all of you. This was the best one ever, and impossible location next week, Ben, and three ideas. You got to share 3 ideas. I'll bring 3 ideas to the table, and we can see what we can muster up. And if anyone else has any ideas, film them and drop YouTube links in the comments, and we'll play them live. That's
if you got any ideas about what you want to hear about, or what you want us, what you want to chat about, because I think we could also talk about, because we had that whole when things go wrong, and you had that video with the wife test where the trick went wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh, I want to see Adam's video of the chair test going wrong.
I really want to say, oh man,
it's ultimate Curb Your Enthusiasm magic. I don't know if I could watch it.
Yeah, I know. When he was saying it, I was like, I know that feeling. I can feel that just.
Yeah, the earth could just swallow you.
You were there like this. You were going, oh no.
Yeah.
Couldn't even bear to hear it.
All right, folks. Thank you all so much.
Yes.
And yeah, I've just had the best time ever. I'm trying to find how to end the live stream. Okay, here we go, guys. We're finishing officially. Let's give it up for Ben one more time in the comments down below. Thank you all so much. See you next week. If you haven't already, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. I'll be back on Tuesday for Tutorial Tuesday. Thursday for the wife test. And then back again next Sunday, 5 p.m. Ben, are you free next Sunday?
I think so.
It's easy to make you commit when we're live.
So yeah, but yeah, let's definitely we'll tie TNR up again, and we'll do Impossible Location as well.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Thank you all so much. Bye everyone. Bye.
Okay.
Boom. Oh wait, end live stream end.